The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
You know, the end of 2021 saw the passing of great Betty White. And the start of 2022 saw the passing of the amazing Cindy Poitier and Bob Saget. And it helps me, I think of a mediocre talent once said that giants don't die. They live in our hearts and our minds stories. And if you do that, we're all. So let's sit back and think about the legends that we lost and think about the legends that we still have. In the meantime, we have an old friend of ours returning to the show and probably some similar dick jokes, arguments, and hopefully adequate discussions. So welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to episode 494 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also at the Lair of Lost Swag within the Raven Chateau with some new intimate mood lighting. Yeah. Put your headphones on. Don't fix your hair. What do you... You're a fucking professional. Come on. Or at least I thought you were.
No, yeah.
No, yeah. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Haven't you figured out his routine? He does his little intro. He takes off the headphones and plays with his hair.
This is ridiculous. What is that? What purpose does that serve? Is it because we're not on air yet? We're not live, so you don't need to have your hair like all fluffed up, and then so you take the headphones off after you do your little intro job, and then you fluff it up, and then you put the headphones on.
Yeah, no, I just kind of get ready, kind of get lubed up.
Yeah, no? What is yeah, no?
Yeah, no.
Hey, look, he spends a lot of time on his hair.
Yeah.
And you come in here and you're touching his hair.
He hit my hair. You know, I spend a lot of time on my hair, and he hits my hair. If Aries was there, he would fucking hit your hair right now.
I'm sure he would.
I'd give him a noogie.
Well, we're also coming from the Lair of the Gods and also from the frozen tundra of Cleveland, Ohio. We have old friend of the show and the guest who has been featured. Well, he's basically the guest with the most. He's been on the show more times than anyone else who is not a normal member. And we have the mighty and powerful El Goro from the Talk Without Rhythm podcast.
See, you continue on with the idea that Cleveland is some sort of frozen wasteland when day to day we're like neck and neck as to who's colder between Massachusetts and Ohio. I have no idea how Baltimore is, but
well, it's actually significantly better. So I guess to the weather that's here, maybe Cleveland is a frozen tundra.
Well, I mean, the last couple of days have been balmy weathers of the teens, so I guess it is a little bit cold.
Well, I think it's just more of just grouping in two different things. It's cold and it's a wasteland. So
that's fair. That's fair.
Well, you do go to Cinema Wasteland, so right?
That's true.
That's out in Ohio.
That's true. Yep.
So
that is my local con.
Yeah, it's not too far from the truth, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
So
that means I got to start rocking sort of leather vests and assless chaps and maybe a hockey mask. The problem with the wasteland thing is you got to put a whole look together, and it kind of becomes your thing. And if you put the look together wrong, you end up with a lame wasteland name like Bare Ass, and you can't really walk away from that. I mean, it's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Are you that bare-assed kid, El Goro?
I don't know. Give a couple more months of the pandemic and we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's fucking awesome to have you on, man, and it's always a pleasure to just, I get to, I have the benefit of talking to you on a daily basis, but it's always good to actually hear your voice and to just kind of shoot the shit about movies with you. So we appreciate you coming on.
Likewise, man. It's always a blast. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And it's the after MZ's tenure on the show, if you want to call it that, we were kind of thinking about who we wanted, and we're like, you know what? We haven't had Al Gore on in a while, and he's the fucking man, and he is the guest that's been on the most, so it makes the most sense. And it just kind of worked out with schedules, so glad we could make it happen. And this time, there's something different this time that you're on, though Al Gore, because the difference is Michael Ravenshadow has actually listened to your podcast. In the past, it was like this mythical creature that he had just heard about, but now you actually listen, Ravenshadow.
No, it's true. I fucking adore it. And I was chatting with El Goro a couple of weeks ago around the holidays because I checked out.
Was it $2.99 a minute or one of those deals?
Yeah, I mean I wish it was $2.99. It was.
No, it's only $2.99 the first minute, and then 99 cents every after.
Yeah. But no, after listening to and he put his Patreon special up for the Spider-Man movie. Something from Home. I'm not sure where he is from Home. No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Lost from Home. Home Alone. I don't know what the fucking title is, but that was a great episode. But no, it's funny. I'm checking out. I didn't hear 600 because I haven't seen the new Matrix movie, but I am midway through your Cabaret and Saturday Night Fever discussion episode, which is funny for the hair reference.
Oh yeah, that's fresh then.
I had it in mind, man, and it was nice to actually see the movie that surrounded that quote, because I'd heard you guys make the reference so many times that it finally got around to watching Saturday Night Fever.
Oh man, is that your first time watch?
First time for Saturday Night Fever and Cabaret. I mean, there were films that, and it was kind of the theme for that episode. It was a Patreon pick from the very generous Tom WF, who joined me on the show. And not only was it kind of a new Hollywood musical episode, but they were both two flicks that I'd obviously heard of, but had never really sought out because they were kind of a victim of their reputation. I'm not a disco guy, so there was really very little drawing me towards Saturday Night Fever. Yeah. But I kept hearing over the years that, no, it's not just some sort of disposable disco movie. It's actually a really dark, gritty film that just happens to have disco stuff into it. And so having finally watched it, yeah, it's a lot more to do with like Taxi Driver than Xanadu.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta, I'll kind of like, echo that, because I saw it years ago. One of my oldest friends was really into it. I'm like, really? Like that fucking movie? He's like, dude, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. So I watched it and I was like, fuck, I watched it when I was like a teen, and I'm like, this movie's fucking good. It's like really good. And I've since seen it maybe like 5 to 10 times. I don't even know, but it's really good.
As again, though, one of the things I came across in the research is apparently when it got put on HBO, and before that, they had actually edited it down to give it a PG rating. And so they were re-releasing it so other people could see it in the theater. And then when it got picked up on HBO, during the day, they would play the PG cut. But at night, when it passed over like some sort of bullshit watershed time, they would play the R-rated cut. So I have to imagine there had to be somebody out there that had seen Saturday Night Fever a bunch of times during the day and just happened to tune into it at night and like, holy shit, everybody's swearing, and what is with this rape scene?
Jeez, yeah. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, that movie does not fuck around.
No.
Now the sequel, Staying Alive, which I also watched, that's a piece of shit, but it's an enjoyable piece of shit, and at least you can laugh at it.
I've actually never seen Staying Alive, so it's something I'm kind of curious about checking out. But I've heard that it's not quite as good, so I'm a little skeptical.
The only reason I wanted to check it out is because Stallone directed it.
Yeah.
And after watching it, I was like, huh. So basically, Staying Alive and Rambo 2 have the same thematic core. They're taking these established characters that came out of the gritty 70s, and then they're giving them the opportunity to, quote unquote, win this time. So that's my new theory and observation putting out there. Staying Alive, Rambo 2, same film.
Wow. That's a hell of a fucking point to put out there.
There you go.
Well, Goro, I gotta say, like, what drew me to the episode was your discussion of Cabaret,
Mhm.
which I've never seen the film, but I adore. It's probably my favorite play.
Nice.
That I've seen twice. The last time I saw it was probably 5 years ago, and I completely adore it. And if I had talent, the part out of the play or musical talent or theater talent would be the MC.
Oh, that's the part right there.
That and like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror. But I adore Cabaret because it's all fucking people partying, getting crazy until the fucking Nazis show up.
Yeah.
And ruin fucking everything. And what blew me away though was, and I don't want to go on a rail on this, but like, how does anybody think that that's not an anti-Nazi production?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, when they saw the film, they were just kind of looking at the surface level thing. Unfortunately, I think fortunate for the film, but they made a song that was meant to be a fascist song, Tomorrow Belongs to Me. So literally an anthem that a Nazi would sing. It just happened to be such a good song that despite the fact that it was written by two Jewish men and was meant to be an indictment of the Nazis, it got picked up by various nationalist socialist groups as their de facto anthem. So people are dumb.
Yeah, well, they'll commandeer pretty much anything they fucking want. So,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Aries, aren't you a big fan of musicals?
I am, yes, but I have not
Nice.
seen Cabaret, and it's been a long time since I've seen Saturday Night Fever, so I could not chime in really on this discussion.
I definitely recommend checking out Cabaret, man. It was a surprise how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to try to shy away from the movie versions of the stage plays until I've seen the stage plays, even though I don't get to see the stage plays very often.
Sure.
Well, there you go. We haven't had a musical discussion in a long time on the show, but people would be probably surprised to know that Aries and Raven Shadow both like musicals. What's your favorite musical, Raven Shadow?
I mean, it's hard. Like, and I'm with Aries. Like I said, I've only known Cabaret. I always think of it as a play, and probably Rocky Horror, right? Rocky Horror. I guess. I mean, I grew up a certain time from Grease was always fucking on. Which also too, there's some fucking songs in that are pretty inappropriate.
Sure. Did she put up a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Grease Lightning ain't fucking PG lyrics. You know what I mean? Not for nothing. Like I remember doing karaoke at like a children's fucking birthday party establishment, and "Two Become One" was one of the songs in the fucking selection. Like, what's this message about? Turns out sex. Oh, and fucking "Semi-Charmed Kind of Life," a popular song about heroin.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, that is fun. How about you, Aries? Do you have a favorite musical? I'm
Les
sure
Mis.
you've. Yeah, I'm sure you've mentioned it, but I just didn't recall offhand. So.
Yeah, no, it is Les Mis. I have the soundtrack and I do sing it when I'm alone in my vehicle.
That's fucking premium content right there.
There it is. I need to get
man.
your recording of you singing "Look Down." I bet you could rock that shit.
Oh man, did you see the Les Mis with Wolverine?
I did. I wasn't a fan.
No, not a fan.
No, not a fan of that. I did have to see it though, but yeah.
Raven Chat, did you see it?
Did he pop his claws? Because it was Logan and Gladiator was in that.
Yeah.
And Ali G was in that too, right?
Yep.
Logan, Gladiator.
Yeah.
I love how you like name actors. You just name their one of their most well-known roles, or sometimes most obscure. Parker Lewis Can't Lose, Felicity, or no, what'd you call Felicity? Carrie Russell.
Noxzema.
Noxzema, yeah. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we don't have a ton of time with El Goro, so and we can shoot the shit a little bit later. But I do want to get into the film discussion because this one should be kind of an interesting one. And I wasn't actually sure what we're going to do with El Goro at first because the one I wanted to do actually comes out tomorrow, so we had to kind of hold off and call an audible. And I looked through and I was like, oh shit, I would love to talk Alan Moore with El Goro. And El Goro, I also know you spent some time in the UK as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't know if we ever had this conversation, but whereabouts in the UK were you when you lived over there?
All right, so the place that I lived in two different places. The first time we were over there was more or less kind of close to the ocean. It's a little place. The nearest town would have been called Ipswich, which was right on the ocean. But the base we were at was Bentwaters and Woodbridge. Woodbridge may catch somebody's attention if they're familiar with a decently famous UFO sighting that happened in like the late 80s at that place. So if you come across that was the base where we were at. The second place that we were at was this town or this base right outside of a small town called Huntington. Closest city to that would probably be Cambridge, and that's more in the Midlands area where a lot of fen and sheep country.
All right. So, had you ever been to Northampton or were you? I don't know where it is in relation to the places that you were.
Yeah, I mean, Northampton would be in the East Midlands, so kind of, sort of in the similar region, but never made it out there.
Okay. From what I understand, it's kind of a smallish town now, and but that's where Alan Moore is from or currently lives. I can't recall if it's where he's from or where he lives, but
it's where he's from. But for all I know, he probably still lives there. He seems like the type.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, we're going to talk about the film The Show, and it is, I think we're all big fans of Alan Moore's work in comics, and this is his first feature film that he's written. So he's written plenty of comic books, novels, and such, but this is his first feature-length screenplay that he's written based on, like he's had screenplays based off of his work, but he's never written a complete screenplay, to my knowledge. So, the film is The Show, and it just got a release. Actually, got a release in 2021, and I believe is currently on Shout Factory Blu-ray. I think you. Yep. I think you can get it on Blu-ray now, so you can check that out. And the film is 115 minutes. It's a drama fantasy, and it's directed by Mitch Jenkins, and as I mentioned, written by Alan Moore. I wasn't familiar with Mitch Jenkins, but in looking him up, it looks like he did a photography project with Alan Moore back in the 80s, and the two became fast friends and have since worked together on a couple occasions, especially with they did some shorts in the within the last 10 years they've worked on a couple short films together. And so yeah, I mean, he's not a film director first and foremost, he's a photographer, but as we know that that can translate fairly well. If you can fucking frame a shot and it looks really pretty, just instead of using like a camera where it just snaps a photo, you just kind of let it run and you film. And so it's kind of cool that they worked on this piece together. And there's a pretty extensive cast. And I also, looking at IMDb, they list them.
Yeah, they do it alphabetical order, so it's useless. Wikipedia's got a slightly better listing in terms of who is actually important for the movie.
Yeah, it's in looking at IMDb, it's interesting because when looking at it, a lot of I don't know if there's anything to this, but a lot of the characters have this, like, they're listed by character last name alphabetically, and there's like the last names are like Ambler, Ashton, Griffiths. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, no. I'm actually completely wrong. That's the name of the actors and the actresses. Okay, so
yeah,
that's why it makes sense. I thought they were listing the name
character
of the
names.
Yeah, first.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and run down the cast here. And as I mentioned, it's got a pretty extensive cast, and there's a lot of kind of like bit characters and a lot of interesting characters, I'll say. But we have Tom Burke, we have Ellie Bamber, Siobhan Hewlett, Alan Moore is also featured in this film as an actor. Sheila Atim, Antonia Campbell Hughes, Richard Delane, Christopher Fairbank as Patsy Bleecker, Daryl De Silva, and Bradley John. And the synopsis for the film is: a man's search for a stolen artifact leads him to the haunted town filled with voodoo gangsters, masked adventurers, Depression-era private eyes, and violent... I looked up this word last week and I forgot how to pronounce it. Chiaroscuro women, I believe is how it's pronounced. So not only is the synopsis a little odd, this film is certainly a little odd. Now, Gora, if I'm not mistaken, you had seen some of Alan Moore's previous short films. Is that correct?
I had, and I was actually really surprised. I mean, because having seen the shorts that he had worked with Mitch Jenkins, I was actually a very much a fan of them, from the visual style to just kind of the weirdness of them. So I was certainly excited to check out it kind of expanded out into a feature film, but I had no idea that the show is essentially a sequel to those short films. And we actually do see pieces of the short films throughout the show, particularly Act of Faith and Jimmy's End. Act of Faith was the short that showed the journalist Faith Harrington and her sexual misadventures that lead her into a coma. And then Jimmy's End was all about the character of James Mitchum ending up in the bizarre afterlife bar. So it was like, it was just one of those things. As the thing was going on, it's like, wait a minute, I know these stories, I know these characters. So it was fun, and I had no idea that it was, essentially the sequel or the expansion off the stuff that they had introduced in those original shorts.
That is pretty interesting. I actually did see that it was sort of like a continuation. So it's actually kind of cool. I mean, I think I'm glad they referenced them because, if you've never seen the short, I don't think you're necessarily missing out. But
no.
Do you think it added to the experience for you?
I think it definitely added it to it for me. I mean, there was a fair bit of distance between when I had last seen those shorts. It had been a couple years. So other than the point of cool, oh, that's cool. But I think the film did a good job of summing up what had previously happened in those shorts, which weren't very strong narratives to begin with. But to be fair, the show, it's not really a... it's not really a strong narrative to begin with either. It's a film of tangents. It's a film of little peculiar asides. All these things kind of building up and not quite landing, but at the same time, you don't really feel like you've been shorted out of anything, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, I can see that. And yeah, this is a complete like mishmash. There's like so many sort of like, I would say like almost like genres like that are referenced in this, like as mentioned, in the synopsis, Depression era private eyes, like voodoo gangsters. There's a masked vigilante in this, and there's clowns, and there's Alan Moore with this weird fucking crescent moon hairdo,
which I'm jealous of, by the way.
It's never too late, Aries.
It is too late.
That ship has sailed for you.
Yeah, that ship is sailed. I can get the bottom half of that.
I was gonna say, with enough product, you might be able to get the beard flip that he's got going on.
Yeah, I can get the bottom, just not the top. I'd be rather than a quarter, I'd be an eighth moon.
An eighth moon. So I almost, this is almost a difficult one to kind of like jump into because it's. I don't want to necessarily give a blow by blow of the plot because that would be very detailed and would probably take us like the entire runtime of the show, like, literally of this show, talking about the show. And so I don't necessarily want to do that. I want to talk about like the atmosphere and the characters and things like that. So this has a lot in it. And I don't know if Aries or Raven Shadow, I don't know which of you is the bigger Alan Moore fan, but I mean, maybe you guys can fight over it. But what did you think of this in comparison to his to the work that you're familiar with Alan Moore.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, you want to go, Aries?
No, I said go.
Oh,
He's telling you. You better fucking do what he says.
I was trying to avoid the awkward silence of the two of us just waiting for the other one. But instead, we'll have this awkward exchange.
Yeah, so now
this is
instead
far
of that,
better.
Yeah, this.
Thank you. Okay, so I love Alan Moore. I think Alan Moore's contributions, not only to comics but to pop culture, is fucking off the charts. I'm not saying that everything he does is gold. I don't think there's not some criticisms that could come to him, but I do adore Alan Moore.
Yeah, and as a comic book fan, it's kind of hard not to. I mean, he's written some of the most influential comics of all time. And, and even their reach is still, like, maybe even more so now, like, more relevant. Some of them are anyways, like Watchmen, and, it's just crazy. And he's known as a curmudgeon and someone who, like, just completely hates all the adaptations, and he just doesn't want to have anything to do with them. So and he's also, it's important to note that he's locked in an eternal wizard battle with Grant Morrison, apparently.
and right. And he has a wife and a girlfriend, and he's a warlock, and he's fucking like, he's batshit crazy. And I
smokes
adore him.
metric shit tons of weed every day, up until the point that when his eyes were all bloodshot in this movie, I was wondering, was that context, or is that just how he wakes up?
Yeah.
No, they had to dull those down.
Yeah, I think so.
They use CGI. Like, I want to be in Patrick Stewart's
They
treehouse.
CGI'd his eyes white.
Yeah. Like, I
If
want
you
to.
ever- If you ever get on YouTube, look up. There's a Warren Ellis tells an Alan Moore story of what it's like to be on the phone with Alan Moore, and it's amazing.
I'll definitely have to check that out. Yeah, he's kind of an enigma. I mean, I guess now in the social media age, you can find out more about people, but he's always been this kind of enigma with this wild beard and hair, and this sort of weird, like, curmudgeon enigma fucking wizard. And it's interesting now that we kind of, like, this is the first time I've seen him act. I don't know if he's acted in anything else that I'm aware of, but it was interesting to see him in this as well, like, even though he had a kind of a bit part. But yeah, he's definitely a weird fucking dude, and he is responsible for some of the biggest properties in comics and in pop culture.
Well, and it's also one of those things where, the comments about him being a curmudgeon and being kind of a recluse, they're simultaneously accurate, but also a bit unfair, because it's the thing is that's kind of the vibe of him. That's the one that's been propagated by the press around him. But if you talk to people that are actually friends with Alan Moore, again, people like Warren Ellis, people like Neil Gaiman, yes, they'll tell funny Alan Moore stories, but they'll also talk about his genuine warmth, his genuine interest in their creative process. And I think a lot of his reputation comes from the fact that he doesn't really suffer bullshit at all. And that's why he has this reputation of being kind of this assholey figure, and why, like, every story about Alan Moore will talk about the fact that he doesn't see the movies that are based off of his work. And he said many, many times why he doesn't like the adaptations of his stuff, like Watchmen, like V for Vendetta. And I think that this film does a really good job of illustrating exactly what some of his critiques are. Because when you read an Alan Moore story, whether it's the best stuff he's written or the, not as good stuff, the thing that people sometimes overlook is just how tremendously layered so many of his pieces are.
Yeah.
From not only just the pure narrative side, but also the little subtextual things he will put in. Like, you look at any given frame of Watchmen, and the collaboration between Moore and Gibbons, there's always something to look at in the frame. You'll see a little side of a poster. You'll see a newspaper headline. And all of these things are meant to give you the full story, to reinforce a lot of kind of the thematics he's working with. And it's those kind of tiny little things that get kind of shaved away during the traditional adaptation process. But what we see in the show is essentially all of those little layered idiosyncrasies that are so typify his work, all put on display.
Yeah.
And so this is just, it is the purest encapsulation of his kind of storytelling pursuit transferred to cinema. And that's certainly not going to be to everybody's liking, but if you are a fan of taking your time with Alan Moore, of engaging with it and not necessarily getting everything at once, but then going back and picking up a little bit more as you go along. I mean, this is one of these movies that I wish I'd seen it like 2 or 3 more times just to kind of catch the stuff he's working with. This is the kind of Alan Moore storytelling that I've grown to appreciate a lot more, no pun intended, over the years.
And I would agree too, especially with the dialogue. I mean, I've wrote it. So I'm like, oh, it really sounded like Alan Moore dialogue, written by Alan Moore. Well, I guess that's probably why. But it sounded like that, especially with his Mac the Knife impression. I love the agenda versus plot dialogue.
Oh yeah, that and when Goro was talking about that, that's what I was thinking. It's fucking great. Yeah, I love that bit.
And to be fair, like, with the criticism of Alan Moore's work, I mean, it's my understanding he feels that his work is done when it's done, and any adaptation of his work is not his work anymore. And if legend is true, he's never taken a dime of anything that's been adapted. Dave Gibbons, he don't give a fuck. He wants some Watchmen. And I would take that.
Dave Gibbons got paid for Watchmen.
yeah. But really, up until Watchmen, that his works have not been the most, much like early Stephen King's work. You know, a few notable ones aside, Alan Moore's adaptations have not been a par of the source material.
Well, you weren't a fan of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
It's fun. They had a car.
And so, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing he's talked about many, many times in the past, that he never really saw the point of adapting his work because he had always intended his comic books to be comics.
Right.
And he wrote them in the style of comic books. And in the process of changing it, you're losing something. And for somebody who spends as much time as he does crafting these kind of stories, putting together these sort of references and these sort of subtextual layers, the idea that you're going to shave some of those off, it's just as bad as, you know, dropping some major characters or, you know, completely changing the characters, as in the case of, you know, From Hell and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And even something like Watchmen, which was a pretty close adaptation on the surface, it still missed a lot of the stuff that Moore was kind of, and Gibbons, we can't forget him, the kind of stuff they were working with, because again, they made it as a comic book and the medium was as important as the message.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could probably cover the entire like film discussion just talking about that.
Sure.
And it is one of those things that, you know, I get what he's saying. Like, he may come across as like a crazy old man, but like I totally get it. I mean, that's, you know, when you write something, in this case, write a comic book like the Watchmen, and that is how you intend it to be digested. You're not thinking like, oh, like, well, if this ever gets adapted as a film or whatever, like, you know, he's telling his story, and that's the way that he wants to tell it. And, you know, later on, I mean, if it gets adapted because there's enough money to be made, you know, like I totally get that. And, you know, I, for one, am glad that there is a Watchmen movie, and I still haven't seen the series. I've heard a lot of really positive things about the HBO series, but, you know, I can totally understand where he's coming from with that.
Yep.
So, you know, obviously we have Alan Moore, who is, you know, a legend. I mean, the guy has created some of the most well-known comics. You guys have mentioned a number of them, but I mean, even his run on Swamp Thing, you know,
Sure.
Kind of revitalized that character and brought it into sort of like where it is right now. And
Right.
yeah,
Well,
go ahead,
that- well,
Red
that-
Channel. Yeah.
That became sophisticated suspense. So when we took over with Swamp Thing, it was kind of more adult, and you could argue
Yep.
that Alan Moore heralded in what would become Vertigo.
Definitely.
There were some books that were mature readers, and Swamp Thing was one of them. The introduction of Constantine. I mean, goddamn, you created fucking John Constantine.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm a fucking mark. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking Constantine and Jesse Custer, in no particular order for me. It's why I started smoking, and that and Aries. But, I just wanted to bring. Don't flip me off. But no, I mean, the dude's career. What gave it away? His fucking record.
But I mean, he so many things. Like he did, as you mentioned, like he was sort of like the precursor to Vertigo. I mean, some of the stuff that he created would go on to be some of the main Vertigo titles, like Hellblazer, John Constantine, And so yeah, I mean, he is an absolute legend in comics, and he's done pretty much all you can fucking do. And he even what was his comic company? Was it ABC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
America's Best.
Yeah, America's Best Comics. And I read when back in the day, that's when I was like reading comics heavily. I got into them shortly before that. And when I was like, when I heard Alan Moore was going to be doing his own fucking, comic line, I think I got them all. I got like Tom Strong, Promethea, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Top 10. You
Top
were
10.
huge for Promethea.
Yeah,
You loved
I loved it. Yeah. So it's just so I mean, we could just continue to talk about his legend forever, but I definitely want to sort of set the scene with that, and then kind of like lead into the movie. But I mean, even like Killing Joke, right?
Sure.
Like, there's some things I forget that he wrote even.
And that's the thing. I mean, I have a feeling that there might be some people coming to this film and expecting kind of the cinematic distillation of the greatest hits of Alan Moore. And in many ways, this film can be viewed in that, but not necessarily the greatest hits they're thinking of.
Right.
So if you're going in expecting his cape work, Watchmen, Killing Joke, even something like Swamp Thing, there's not as much of that in the show. However, if you've read some of his later stuff, particularly some of the stuff he was doing with Avatar Press, like Providence or Cinema Purgatorio, which I still need to finish, and even some of his prose work, like the book Jerusalem, which is also set in Northampton, another book I need to get around to, but that thing's like 1,200 pages and it intimidates me. That's kind of the stuff that he's working with. Now, on the surface, the show kicks off in a very kind of traditional sort of way, where we have this investigator character played by Tom Burke running down a mystery. And that's kind of the core that carries the plot forward. But then it's all these little interesting asides. Again, all these other additional little layers that it starts going in, while still never truly leaving away from that investigator story, but still at the same time rolling it into notions of what is narrative, what is reality. And even the character of our Fletcher Dennis, he himself kind of becomes a sort of narrative construct. You get the idea that Alan Moore's character is writing him. And it's appropriate. It's because, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but Fletcher Dennis is Dennis the Menace, the UK version of Dennis the Menace.
Oh, shit.
Which,
no, I didn't know that.
If you're not familiar with the UK version of Dennis the Menace, he fucking ruled. The American Dennis the Menace, he's a little fat kid with the blonde hair. No. UK Dennis the Menace had a slingshot. He had a little rat and mutt dog named Nasher.
Oh.
He was punk rock as hell. And it was as soon as they showed his red striped shirt, I was like, holy fuck, he's Dennis the Menace.
That's
See,
funny.
It took me to the slingshot.
Yeah.
As soon as he whipped out the slingshot, it's just like, God damn it, Alan, I know what you're doing here.
Okay.
And that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy. Those sort of references that he integrates into his narrative, and for him to embrace a character like Dennis the Menace, it is sort of him tipping his hat at, UK comics. And while everybody talks about, the ascendancy of these, auteurs coming out of the UK comic scene, again, guys like Alan Moore, guys like Neil Gaiman, at the deepest root of UK comics are those kids' stories, the stuff that was published in compilations like Beano and Dandy and those kind of things. So it was fun to see Alan Moore integrate that material in and play with it. And it's something that doesn't read as well to, I would assume, to a lot of American audiences, and me myself, still an outside to British culture, but with enough exposure to it, I could appreciate that sort of reference.
Yeah, and little did I know when I went with this one for you, I didn't realize, I knew it took place in Northampton, so I assumed that there would be an element of that, but little did I know that there would be like so much to it that you could help shine light on it, that we just the cultural sort of like impact of it, that we just wouldn't have that sort of like look at it. So it I guess I'd say it worked out pretty well having you on for this one, because you can kind of convey some stuff that we just wouldn't know. Like it sounds like Aries, you got the Dennis the Menace thing, but I wouldn't have made the connection because I wasn't familiar with Fletcher Dennis. So
well, I didn't even necessarily make the reference to the British Dennis the Menace. He kept on wearing that striped shirt, and at the third day, or what I interpreted as the third day, he saw that damn shirt on. I was like, what the fuck? And then the slingshot came out, and I'm like, oh, damn. Because even the American Dennis the Menace wears a striped shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And modern times, the 80s, he kind of got away from the slingshot. Like, they were trying to get American kids away from the slingshot. But the older American Dennis the Menace still had a slingshot in his back pocket all the time.
Yeah,
sure.
It's I'm glad we made that connection, because I didn't get that, but that's pretty awesome. So yeah, there is a lot of the narrative in this, and it's interesting. And Raven Shadow, you were talking about that, agenda versus plot scene, and when that scene happened, it sort of like illuminated some things for me. That was like, oh, okay, I kind of like see what's going on here a little bit more. But leading up to this, I think there's a lot of really great characters, and there's something about, if anything, Alan Moore creates great characters, and I love how some of these characters just kind of jumped off the screen. Like, first of all, we had Clive, who was the the guy who sees dead people, who works in the morgue.
Yeah, but what was his vampire name? I forgot.
Oh, I forgot his vampire name.
I was like, I like your hair. I like yours too.
Yeah.
Well, and did you notice that his hair was the same as what's his name from Dark Shadows?
Oh yeah.
yeah. But that was funny too. Actually, I didn't think he really worked there. I thought he was a patient.
He just hung out there. He just showed up and hung out.
Like, I was not convinced that he was on the clock. I think he was admitted. He was on an inpatient stay.
But if we're talking about great side characters, far and away the favorite of mine, and they've been referenced a few times, the hard-boiled detectives. We didn't mention the fact that they're 12.
Yeah.
They're two little kids that are playing at being a hard-boiled detective, down to the point that whenever they show up, the film goes black and white.
Yeah.
And one is literally out loud narrating the internal dialogue from a hard-boiled detective story, but doing it terribly, putting on a terrible fake American accent. Yeah. And then later, when we see them again, they're in the alleyway, and it's very clear that one is sitting on the other one's shoulders. Yeah.
That was fucking great.
And
but yet the characters didn't recognize that there's some man in the alley.
Yeah.
It's like.
It's that element of comedy that comes in that it really does give this movie kind of this irreverent tone. And I've heard of a lot of people compare it to something like Twin Peaks. And I think that's a pretty apt comparison because, again, Twin Peaks hinged on a pretty traditional narrative. Who killed Laura Palmer? But the pure enjoyment of Twin Peaks for so many people is all the little tangents, all the little side characters, the little side stories that inform this world. And while I'm not the hugest fan of where Twin Peaks went in the second season, I always tap out at the exact same episode. I've never been able to finish the entire series. As soon as they start having a goddamn sing-along, I'm like, I'm done. No more Twin Peaks for me. I really do love that first season. And I could see there is a lot of similarities to be drawn between Twin Peaks and the show.
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually was thinking about that. I was thinking this is like slightly like Lynchian, especially with all these bizarre characters, but it didn't have that same sort of surrealistic feel to it that a lot of Lynch stuff does. Like I felt like it wasn't surreal in the same way, but I totally agree. I got that Lynch vibe to it. And yeah, especially like Twin Peaks. So I totally get that, and I was thinking the same thing. There's just so many, and I think all the characters when they show up, they're super memorable. Like there's like even if they're on screen for just like a couple minutes, there's the girl with like the blonde and black, half and half hair. There, every character has kind of a gimmick. There's the vampire, like there's the kid detectives, and everyone has a gimmick that makes it super memorable. And that's one thing I really dug about this, and even right down to Alan Moore's character with the fucking crescent moon hair beard combo. Like everything is just so memorable about all these characters, and that's one thing I love. I just like the little details like that. And as you were mentioning earlier about how Alan Moore's storytelling, his narrative is so layered, there was a lot. This was a feast for the eyes in terms of like looking at like newspaper, looking at the newspapers, looking at billboards, looking at like the sides of buildings. Like I feel like everything had purpose in this. And, that's one thing I love the details. I love things like that. And you don't get that in a lot of films these days. It's just, all right, let's quickly, get the scene wrapped up. And I feel like there's not as much care put into it. But I really loved a lot of those little details in this.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say the difference between this movie and a David Lynch movie or TV show, although both have characters and aspects that are far out there, this movie, although characters seem to be far out there, whereas in a David Lynch movie or show, there's characters that just seem to be there just for the sake of making the audience go, what the fuck was that? Whereas in this, every character made sense. Everything had a purpose.
Yeah.
As bizarre or out there that it was, it had a purpose. And you may have like shifted your gaze a little bit as you watched it, but ultimately it came around and it made sense. And that is why, because I am not a huge David Lynch fan, because I don't like that random bullshit that happens to make you go, what? It just made you question the reality. And then, but it brought it right back in and it made sense. And that is the type of bizarreness that I enjoy.
Yeah, same with me. I get the sense that sometimes David Lynch will put things in his films just because he gets off on the fact that somebody is going to attempt to interpret it, when really there is no interpretation to be found. Yeah. On the other hand, Alan Moore's strangeness generally has a very strong reason for it being there. You may not immediately pick up on what he's playing with, but if you dig a little deeper and you figure out what he is referencing, there's usually an explanation for things. And yeah, there are some strange characters, but they all serve, as you were saying, Aries, a function in the film. The boy detectives, they have a function in the film. The John the Conqueror, played by a woman in this, she has a function in the film. It's strange, but it's a function.
Yeah, and even right down to like a character like that. Like that's, it plays with your expectations. You're expecting John the Conqueror, maybe some huge hulking person, and then you see this like, this like strong, like awesome black woman, and how like she is kind of a conqueror in a different way, So it plays with expectations, which I thought was really cool, because a lot of times in this you hear a character's name before you see them. So you almost have an expectation of what they might be like especially with the character of Patsy. I can't remember the character's last name, but the one that Fletcher Dennis was working for to try to find the Rosicrucian cross. You know,
Bleacher.
Yeah, it's Bleacher.
Patsy Bleecker. That's it. So like even a character like that, you hear his voice and you hear his name, but you don't really see him, and then later on you get a sense of what he looks like, and it's almost like he sets an expectation and then kind of like plays with it a little bit, and I thought that was also another thing that kind of keeps you guessing. And we also had this one character. I don't even remember the character's name, but he was the one at the library at the very beginning who ended up being the hacker who wore the mask.
Yes. Which again, there was some major breaches of PHI in this movie. We call it private health information, but I'm looking. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, let's find this person. There's some things you don't do. I would think even in England.
He went on the internet. He didn't break any laws.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's still a little weird.
Public information.
Okay, and I'm looking for this girl. Where does she live? Okay, we'll look it up. And granted,
you can do that on the internet. As twisted as that is.
Did you know that, Raven Shadow? You can stalk people if you want.
Oh, fuck. Now, all right.
You know what? You could even go back into the 90s and do it in a phone book. It's just...
There was a lot of PHI that were breached. I'm not sure how libraries work as opposed to healthcare.
What PHI?
Maybe
they found a name that was admitted into the hospital.
Raven Shadow, you don't know. Maybe he signed a HIPAA.
Yeah, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Don't tell me.
Someone was admitted into the hospital and they found that name. It's the same as calling and saying, "Is so and so in the hospital?" You can do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you can. Don't say you don't know. I'm telling you, you can.
Oh, Aries calls a lot, fucking finds a lot of information on people. Apparently.
No. Everybody knows that except you.
No, but yeah, but I don't know if you can just walk in and be like, "Hey."
No, you don't walk in. You just go to the fucking internet and search.
You can search.
Yeah.
And you can walk in and say, "Is this person here?" They will tell you where they are unless there's some, they're a criminal or something and under arrest in the hospital.
Raven Shadow's in disbelief here.
I love it when he's wrong and he gets mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I don't know. I think there was a lot of information that was exchanged without documentation.
Okay, give an example and I'll prove you wrong.
Well, that's
Gore, this is what I live for. I'm sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. Do your thing.
That's what I live for. Give me an example. I'll prove you wrong.
Well, first of all, A, don't embarrass me in front of Al Gore. B,
I think you're doing that on your own.
Yeah, then don't talk.
The thing is, Raven Shadow, you're actually pretty close to blowing this all open, but I'm going to let you figure it out.
Oh.
Can you message me?
I'm too much.
All right, I'll say it then. So the librarian, who if we find out is a mass vigilante, it's Richard Delane, who plays Henry Gaunt. When he looks up the patient, he actually pulls up the full-on patient records down to like the little drawings that are made where they have to point where the head wounds are. It's really, really fast, so it's clear that he was hacking in and accessing actual privileged medical information and not just, hey, this guy's in a hospital.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that by the command prompt, Raven Shadow, like when he was typing in, like that wasn't like a normal web search, but
no.
But there you go.
Well, A, I don't know what a web search is. B, Goro.
That's fair.
You ever heard of Bing, my friend?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, fuck Google. We're going back to Bing, baby. Come on now.
It's how you find the videos, man.
Well, as we found out earlier, the way he tests his internet is, what was the site again, Raven Shadow?
It was private.
All right. That's are you saying that's a PHI?
Yeah, that's PHI, Johnny.
We could call your ISP and I could have them give us your web traffic.
Yeah, no, I delete my cookies. Yeah.
Let me just type some commands into command prompt right here, and we'll find out right away.
I see Goro's like that cat that's typing on the typewriter right now. Yeah. So privilege information, Raven Shadow. Yeah, no one. You can't look that shit up. You have to hack into it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But that's the thing also then might speak to why this movie may not work for some people, because just taking the case of the Henry Gaunt character, this librarian who we find out actually is a masked vigilante and has a history of that going back decades. There's no explanation given for that. There's no deeper background other than what we see on the wall. We don't necessarily even know exactly why he's taken an interest in Fletcher Dennis's investigation. He just is.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a thing. And I think that this film may become alienating to some folks that may want a deeper explanation of these sort of things. Let me say this. If you're the kind of person who would question why there would be two 12-year-olds masquerading as 1920s private eyes and nobody comments on it, then this movie is not for you.
Yes, that is
Now,
definite.
I question why or how they can afford a secretary.
I don't know. They give her they give her biscuits and energy drinks.
Biscuits, yeah.
Did you see the house that their parents own? So that's probably what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was their sister.
Oh, maybe.
See, I bought that hook, line, and sinker. I didn't even fucking flinch. All of that makes sense to me.
Why is she there? Because every private investigator needs a secretary.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that.
Now, Raven Shadow, are you going to question that their telephone system, their string wasn't taut,
Yeah.
so
vibration wouldn't travel?
To be fair, they have a better setup than my computer here in the studio. I'll tell you that.
Well, at least they know how to use it.
Well, listen. I bought it. I loved it. I love fucking what? He's like an angry robot, anti-robot day or some shit like that. I love dialogue. It was fucking great.
Oh my God! I want to go. I want to go off on a little tangent here.
Please.
No, because I'm just reading something. Raven Shadow, you have Alexa now?
Oh yeah, Marion.
Uh-oh.
Marion says, "Did I tell you guys I bought Raven Shadow and Echo Dot for Christmas just to hear him argue with Alexa?"
So I'm scared about that. As
you should be.
Right? I
It's
fucking
always on. It's always listening, Raven Shadow.
and I fucking talk a lot to myself. Ollie and I talk. I do my internal monologue.
Internal, external. Let me hear one of those.
Yeah, what the fuck? I fucking hate this guy. Oh, what the fuck? I'm struggling. You know what I mean? Like, I might say fucking things to Ollie or just to the cabinets, and I don't want to fucking go to somebody. I can't have that. So I'm scared about Big Brother and Brother fucking I in my fucking house. Like, if it's like, okay, play fucking this song. I like that, but I don't know. I'm
So you use Alexa. You've talked to Alexa.
no, it's still in the box.
Of course it is. She bought you a fucking gift, and you just keep it in the box?
I'm scared of it.
Oh my God.
It's not going to hurt you.
Goro, I feel like Pandora right
Show us on the Echo Dot where it touched you, Raven Shadow.
now. You might get a phone call. I don't know what's going to say.
You could, if you set it up, you can say, "Hey Alexa, play Talk With Our Rhythm."
That wouldn't work. I'm not on Amazon.
Oh, never mind. It wouldn't work, Raven Shadow. Forget it. Never open it.
Oh, fuck. Are we on Amazon? Is Trick or Treat Radio on Amazon?
We are, yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, that's all that matters to him.
Yeah, all good.
Alexa, let me hear my voice.
Yeah.
That is what he'll say.
I want Goro too. Yeah, I'm scared of it, but she's gonna come over. We're gonna figure it out. But I have some limitations.
You have some limitations.
I have lots of limitations.
Yes.
Plug it in and talk to it.
I don't know. I'm scared.
It'll answer all your questions. It'll be your new Johnny.
Huh?
When you have like where's whatever, you can ask Alexa, and she will know. She's smarter than Johnny, believe it or not.
She could be a bad girl.
Okay, now we're getting weird. Now we're getting weird. Why are you gonna go weird on the air?
I don't know. I don't.
What? Corny says Raven Shadow talks to himself at home.
Yeah.
Corny, didn't you stay with him? You should know this.
Yeah, but Corny was answering his questions was the problem.
Yeah.
That's true. He's like, go to bed.
So, what else can we say about this movie? I mean, it's pretty dense. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters. Actually, one thing that Marion said was, I was surprised that Moore was so good in the movie. I thought so too. I thought he was great in this. It's funny in seeing the pictures and stuff like that. I didn't even really notice it was him until I looked a little bit like harder at him. I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Alan Moore. Like, I just, with the makeup and the glitter in his fucking beard, like, it didn't automatically come to me. But no, I thought he was quite good in this.
Yeah, definitely, and I think part of it helps the fact that this is his dialogue. He knows how it should be delivered, and he wrote himself a role that's in keeping with his kind of sensibilities. A little bit of a trickster, a little bit of a pontificator, and just kind of weird.
Yeah, see, I 100% took this as this is just a conversation with Alan Moore.
Yeah,
Like this
was.
is not him acting. This is him having a conversation.
Maybe that's why it's so good. Yeah, and he plays a pretty, I would say, like a huge integral role in this as well. So
Sure.
It's not like he is one of these sort of like side characters in a way, but he plays a very integral role in the film. And yeah, I think I honestly think he's one of the highlights. That conversation you were mentioning, Raven Shadow, about agenda versus plot, I thought was one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
Yep. And again, it's kind of hitting one of those sort of themes that you can find in so much of Moore's work, and also in a lot of his criticism against a lot of media out there, of losing that sort of deeper storytelling thrust. The idea that a plot, agenda is something kind of sterile. It's it's bean counting. It's you do this. It's a plot has layers.
Yep.
A plot has something a motivation behind it. A plot has poetry, as he was saying before. And, and to him, the idea that poetry is akin to magic, and that's the primacy of storytelling is something that's been so important throughout his entire career. And it pops up as a narrative piece within this, as, so, again, one of those subtextual layers that informs so much of what's going on.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I really loved about this was, just a lot of that stuff and how like deep this was and this is a film I definitely would like to see again, because there is just a lot of layers to it, as was mentioned, and I feel like just upon subsequent watches you could just kind of pick out more and more and more.
Yeah. I need a study guide for it, though. I need him to write down. It's like, these are the things I'm referencing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he'd ever do something like that.
I don't know. I mean, he's described things in the past, but if nothing else, other people have risen to the occasion in order to reveal some of the what's under the hood in certain Alan Moore stories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if you like go on YouTube, you can find this is the meaning of this and what in this movie. Like you probably can find more information about this movie than the length of this movie.
Oh, I'm sure. But I want to give it a few more watches on my own before I start kind of digging into that stuff.
Oh yes, this is definitely something I want to watch at least one more time. You already said it. Like I wish we could have watched this more, like again before we spoke of it.
Yeah.
Like I just watched this one time and I was like, holy fuck, I got to talk about this. And not only I got to talk about this, I got to talk about this without Goro.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was actually hoping to watch this with T-Dog, but our schedules just didn't work out that way, so I had to watch it on my own. And Afterwards I was like, I kind of want to watch this with her. Like, and yeah, I'm open to watching it again because I think that there would be a lot to pick up on. And yeah, I think I'll probably maybe even this weekend. I got a long weekend, so I might even watch it again that soon. But overall, and we'll talk a little bit more about the actual film itself. And even though this is his feature debut with Mitch Jenkins, I feel like this is a really well directed film. I like, obviously he's got an eye for for it since he's a photographer, but some of the things I really dug was, as was already mentioned, I think Goro mentioned, when the private investigators were on screen, the 12-year-old private investigators, it was filmed in that fashion. We had some like Dutch angles where it was like tilted just a little to at times, and and then we got the black and white, and I just feel like a lot of the different sort of like disparate genres that were featured in this were highlighted in a way that really played up the feel of what they were going for. And that's one thing I really dug about it. And I think it just overall is a really well-made film, a lot of detail put into it, and I thought the acting was good, and the script is obviously good, and even the setting. I think that all that stuff really worked for me.
Same with me.
Yeah. Did Raven Shadow and or Aries? I should just pick on one of you guys as opposed. I just don't.
Because you know what happens? You say one or the other, and he talks, and then I don't get my say. So you just need to just choose and see what happens.
I don't like putting anyone on the spot. So, but
it's your fucking job. It's why we pay you.
You pay me?
You don't get those checks? Oh, okay.
But how about you guys? Did you guys enjoy Aries? Did you enjoy the kind of the way it was filmed, and how especially with, it was most noticeable with the investigator scenes?
You know what? I love that it did change the feel depending on what they were showing, and it was most noticeable with the detectives and switching to the black and white. But there were other subtle changes throughout this movie that were it was. Although it was subtle, it was outstanding when you notice that and you embrace this movie. I like I said, I really just I want to watch this again. Can we just pause and like watch it and then come back? Like,
sure, we'll pause. Come back in 2 hours and talk about it. We'll lose El Goro though, because he's gonna go soon. Raven Shadow, how about you? Look and feel.
No, and once again, I think we've talked about this before. Al Goro has mentioned this before. If a movie doesn't work for you, you're not going to buy into it. But all these desperate elements did work for me. And I'm not a big David Lynch fan either. Like, I get it, I appreciate it, but weird to be weird isn't necessarily my gimmick. And maybe I'm oversimplifying stuff, but all these elements worked for me. I don't know why my mind went to the fucking holodeck whenever Picard would go back in the fucking whatever that his version of Matches Malone was on the Enterprise, when he'd go and do his own like his gangster shit with like Data. It reminded me more of that. But I loved that stuff. I loved the world. I loved the housemates, his flatmates, the one that that was doing the tours of Northampton, and the comedian they lived with, who was not funny at all.
No.
Nothing funny. Nothing funny about him. But he had a great look. So I liked I was totally on board with everything, and nothing was too weird or out of place because I bought into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Herbert Sherbert? Surprised no one's brought up that character yet.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. It really did feel like Alan Moore was taking a piss take on that kind of conceptual artist type person.
So for if folks are listening to this and haven't seen the movie yet, Eric Lampert played a character named Herbert Sherbert, and he was a musician, singer, and he would get up on stage and dress like Adolf Hitler, or at least had the mustache and would kind of dress like him. And once again, just one of these kind of like bit characters who makes an appearance a couple times, and it's just a ridiculous fucking character, Herbert Sherbert. And the one thing I did like was, and maybe Goro can speak to this, I don't know if you were would have been old enough to know, but it seems like the scene, at least here, like had a very sort of like punk goth aesthetic to it.
Sure.
You know, and you know, we had the dude working in the hospital, and he was wearing like a Bauhaus shirt, and there was a lot of sort of that kind of vibe going on. Is that typical of the area, or is that just maybe something that Alan Moore was just going for in this?
I think it was just something that Alan Moore was coming for. Certainly, I didn't see that kind of influences in the spots where I was at.
Yeah.
But you would see occasionally, you know, again, kind of the older punks, because, you know, that would have been more people who were coming of age in the 1980s that were embracing that kind of aesthetic. But it wasn't anything that. But then again, there also weren't, you know, postmodern art parties with guys dressed up as Hitler in the clubs that I was going to. So maybe I was just going to the wrong spots. Maybe if I had gone to Northampton, I would have run into more, you know, weird goths and skinny Hitlers.
Weird goths and skinny Hitlers.
There's your episode title.
I definitely got the feeling they were trying to play with the timeline a little bit, where they weren't 100% establishing the timeline, and where in the past they've kind of tried to eliminate the cell phone to blur the timeline. This, although introducing the cell phone, still we're trying to blur it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, the technology was there, but it was largely, you know, incidental. I mean, you had people using computers, you had use of cell phones, but it wasn't the huge driver, except when they would start talking about technology in terms of narrative, when they were talking about the idea of simulation theory, that we're inside a simulation, inside a simulation, inside a simulation, and how that fits into, you know, what Moore was character was talking about of dreamscapes, and the idea that stories can persist in this other kind of place. So it's all sort of really fitting into each other. But, you know, this wasn't a film that was exploring technology all that much. It just was there.
Oh, yeah. Well, because, I mean, even, you know, with the initial librarian, when they were talking, it's like, oh, yes, I've dabbled. I can, you know, I know a little bit about, and it's really just kind of like, oh, they're in the mid 90s because the internet is still at its infancy, because some people have dabbled, but other people have no idea what it is. And then all of a sudden, our main character has a smartphone.
Yep.
It's like, okay, if someone has dabbled in the internet and this motherfucker has a smartphone, like, that is two different worlds. Like, you're dealing with two different things. Like, so that like put me in the, like, we're kind of eliminating time.
Yep. And then again, with the private investigators, the fact that it went full on, you know, 1940s or 1920s.
Oh, yeah. All the way back. Like, that was a big leap backwards. Yeah.
Sure. But again, you know, it's the idea of simple stories, and the idea that a story can create its own sort of reality, and how the lines of reality in this film really do break down in certain sections. Not only when they're moving into the dreamscape, but how the real world itself will change depending upon where they go and the environment they're in, because the narrative changes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, and you 100% just embrace it.
Sure.
You don't question it, you just embrace it.
Yep. But again, if you're one of those people that wants to kind of overthink it, but not engage with it, because you sometimes run into that where you'll get these people that will they're applying some sort of intellectual analysis to film, but they're not engaging with the narrative of how the film is actually presenting itself. So essentially, they're applying Vulcan logic to things that don't necessarily apply. And a lot of times they'll bring up these kind of what they'll call plot holes, when there's really explanations for all of them.
That's
And I hate those people.
That's the little.
Well,
I'm with you. That's the literal worst. A lot of times, a plot hole to most people, and I'm pretty sure we've had this conversation, or at least I've heard you talk about it on your show, Goro. But it's basically you can't make the connection of how something works, even though it's laid out for you. So it's a plot hole.
Yeah.
It's just, and a lot of times people, will be on their phones or something and they'll miss a detail and then they don't understand it. So for them, it's a plot hole, but really it's a fucking hole in their understanding of it,
Yep. And the
well,
thing
I
else,
mean,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I've explained this as movies establishing their rules,
Mhm.
and as long as you accept their rules, the movie makes sense for the most part. And some movies break those rules, and that's when you have problems. But this movie established their rules, and it abided their rules. So this movie makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but it does require a certain amount of investment on behalf of the viewer. You have to be willing to kind of take this trip. And I could certainly see some people that, may not be inclined towards it, and fair play to them. But if people start criticizing the narrative because it's an unconventional one, that has less grounding, in my opinion, because not all narratives have to be conventional. Sometimes you can have these sort of weird flights of fancy that nevertheless, as you say, are internally consistent. And that's the thing about this film. Beginning to end, it is a very consistent film. It goes in some weird territory, but that's the kind of narrative, the consistency that we're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. Evil Corny in the chat says he was a bit of a happy Hitler, talking about Herbert Sherbert.
He was pretty happy.
Yeah.
Seemed a little high and low, though, maybe. You got to balance those meds there, bud.
Yeah.
He's probably the best Hitler, right?
He's the best.
Well, really, you want to make those
Yeah.
I mean,
God
in
damn
the spectrum of Hitlers, the League of Infinite. In the League of Infinite Hitlers we have, I'd suppose that he would be on the better side.
I'm out.
Speaking of musicals, The Producers is my favorite musical. And now we're getting
Nice
into
segue.
that. Yeah.
There you go.
That Hitler.
See, that's a happy Hitler.
Yeah, that might be the happiest Hitler.
Yeah. We put Hitler Prime right in the middle,
Jesus.
and then you got to the right. Or let's go to the left. We'll have
To the right, Goro?
no. To the left, we'll have Herbert Sherbert and Springtime for Hitler, and I don't know. To the right, Mecha Hitler from Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
That seems worse than Hitler Prime.
Oh man.
Happy Hitler goes to Washington. What the
God damn it.
That happened a year ago.
Hey. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Double D's chiming in, and Double D says, I definitely got a Terry Gilliam. That's a good pull. I
can see that, yeah.
Terry Gilliam is a good one. He says, I definitely got Terry Gilliam and David Lynch vibe from this movie. I think if you like either of those directors, you'll definitely dig this movie. Yeah, I think that's...
The only thing I will say, at least in regards to Terry Gilliam, is Gilliam has a tendency towards kind of a sort of cinematic anarchy where the energy gets really, really big.
Yeah.
And that sort of frantic quality doesn't happen as much in this film. But there's certainly, if you're inclined to that kind of stuff, you'll probably find stuff to enjoy in the show. I mean, after I watched the film, I immediately sent the trailer over to my original co-host, the Cancer Man, and I was just like, I got something to put on your radar. Just check this out.
Nice. Yeah, and the interesting thing about this movie is it's so kind of nondescript, like the name of the movie, The Show. Like it could, there's a bunch of movies named The Show. It could very easily get lost in the shuffle. And it's just, like it's, I don't know, like I almost feel like it would be better served to have a more original name, but I also kind of feel that that's kind of purposeful,
I
feel that's very
Yeah.
deliberate just to lose this movie in what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that someone who's so good with words would not, with Alan Moore, would not just choose this, without some thought put into it. So
All right, and I feel like an ass. I keep on doing it. Goro, what were you gonna say?
No, just exactly that.
Oh, okay.
That it's a very simple title, but I think that there's power in the simplicity of it.
Yeah, see, I should have shut up and let you talk.
Nah, you got it, man.
No, you're smarter than me. You got a better voice than me, and you're more.
And gosh darn it, people like you.
Yeah, people like you. Yeah,
Yeah, you got a
and
better
you know what?
beard
You can, because I can't even like formulate the proper saying. You speak words better than me.
Yeah, but you got a better beard than me, so that's all that really matters.
No, you know what? Your fucking beard is better than mine, mainly because it's fucking black.
Yeah, but I got more than a few grays in there right now, so give me time.
I keep on like I gotta figure out who El Goro's beard guy is. Like I'm driving to Ohio and going to El Goro's beard guy.
El Beardo.
El Beardo,
Yeah.
yes.
My beard guy is me, and I do nothing.
You do. I do nothing, and it looks like shit. I'm coming to you, and you're gonna trim my shit up.
No, I didn't even trim the shit. I just I put some beard oil into it, and I put a beard balm just because it's all curly, and otherwise it gets little knots in it.
Okay, you got oil and balm. What oil and what balm?
The one I use,
We're going on a side tangent. My apologies to
tangent.
the listeners.
All right, the one I've been using for years is a company called Grave Before Shave. I think they do
like
good
the name.
stuff. It's the big advantage for me is they use all natural ingredients, so you don't end up with chemicals that could give you skin irritation. I use the Viking blend, which is the unscented stuff.
Unscented. Okay.
Yeah.
We got
some
some good beard talk going on. I
Beard
like this,
talk.
yeah.
Well,
This
hey,
is good.
we're talking about Alan Moore, man. He's got the best beard in comics.
That is true.
Yeah, how can you not? In Alan Moore movie, you're gonna talk beards.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure
true.
he just pours bong water on his beard to moisturize it.
Water.
But
Oh man.
that and his tears whenever he hears they're adapting another one of his comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan Moore's tears. That's gonna be the best beard oil.
I should think so. Yeah. He didn't have to put any products. He just looked at the grosses of Watchmen, and that's how he was able to make his beard do the little flip up thing and the show. Just soak the tears in and style it up.
Oh man. There was let me see. there were some actors that I recognized in this that I don't think we've talked about yet.
Oh, the cabbie was on Game of Thrones.
That's right. Yep.
And was also, speaking of Terry Gilliam, he was in Brazil and Gangs of New York. He's been in a ton of stuff. The guy who played James Mitchum, Darren De Silva, I actually recognized him right off because I just recently sat down and watched Guy Ritchie's film Wrath of Man, and he was in that one.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of them were a lot of UK TV guys in this, but as well as a few that had popped up in various films. There was one that I did catch. I'm trying to track down. Oh, the guy who played Bleecker. He was in Alien 3 back in the day.
That's right. He was the one that one of the ones that I recognized. So Christopher Fairbank, I recognized him from that, and then he was also in, I don't remember the character he played, but he was in The Fifth Element, and he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy as the broker. So he's got a ton of credits to his name. So
he was the broker.
Yeah, with the eyebrows.
Yeah.
I would not, in a million years, I would not have guessed that. Because you know what? Like, I'm sure it was just kind of like the angry British gangster. I really got the what the fuck is that Guy Ritchie movie?
Snatch.
Snatch.
Yep.
Yes. He had that fucking guy. The
I can
pig
see
guy.
that. Yeah.
Like
Rick
it was
Top.
just like that over the top, just using fuck in every opportunity he could.
Yeah.
Like if these movies were closer together, I would have thought it was the same guy.
That's fair.
I kind of thought it was too, and that was a great episode of Talking About Rhythm when Goro talked about this too, by the way.
Oh God! You know what? We established you listen to this show. Don't fucking slather it on.
Just saying, I fucking do. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, we established that. Move on.
All right.
One thing, it's funny. Right before I watched this movie, I saw some news about Tom Burke is now going to be in Furiosa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was it. Was it supposed to be Idris Elba? Was he supposed to be in that? I'm trying to remember who he took. He took someone. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Was supposed to be cast in it, but due to other other roles, and I think it was because of like the I don't know if it's for Aquaman or something, but anyways, so Tom Burke is now taking over Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's role in Furiosa.
Yeah, speaking of Tom Burke, I'd seen several because I thought he had a familiar face, and looking through, it's like, okay, I've probably seen him in some of these minor roles. Like he was in Only God Forgives back in 2013.
Yeah.
But the more recent one is one I haven't caught up with yet. It was the David Fincher film Mank, where he plays Orson Welles. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, I did. I'm curious to check that one out as well. But yeah, I mean, Yahya Abdul-Mateen must be, like rolling in like film roles now, because like if you can turn down Furiosa, like that, like that dude's fucking, he's obviously like, like probably in very high demand. I mean, with his turn in Matrix Resurrections and Aquaman and Candyman. And also Watchmen TV series, which, like I said, I haven't seen yet, but apparently he was quite good in that. And he also played a character in Us, Jordan Peele's film. So yeah, I mean, dude's in high demand. So if you can turn down Furiosa, like, I guess you're doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah, he's definitely making the hay right now. I feel bad for some of these actors like Mateen, though it doesn't seem to be hurting him too much. The guys that are just peaking at this time period, with the pandemic going on, that's shutting down so many productions.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they get like that narrow window that they'll have these breakthrough roles, and some of them are really able to capitalize on it. Some of them, not so much. But hopefully he will be able to.
Oh, and he's also in that upcoming Michael Bay joint, Ambulance, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I saw a trailer for that. Yeah.
Hey, good for him. He'll make some money off of that. So
100%, man. Yeah. It's just like everybody's talking about how Bay is going to be producing the remake of The Raid.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just thinking, man, Gareth Evans is getting a paycheck off of that as an executive producer. He's going to go on and make some good movies. That's all I need out of that movie. Give that man more money.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I still haven't seen Gangs of London, but
you should.
Yeah,
you
really
should
want to check that out. But I don't know what else he has been up to.
Apostle, but he's got a movie coming out this year, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got two movies. He's got one in post-production called Havoc.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay. And this one, I remember hearing about this actually. Stars Tom Hardy, Timothy Olyphant, Luis Guzman, Forrest Whitaker. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
I'm on board. What is that?
Awesome.
After a drug deal goes awry, a detective must fight his way through a criminal underworld to rescue a politician's estranged son while untangling his city's dark web of conspiracy and corruption.
Sold.
Yeah.
The only bummer is it's going straight to Netflix, so we're going to run into an Apostle situation where it's going to be a movie I want to own, but Netflix won't put it out on Blu-ray, because then what's the incentive for people buying Netflix?
Yeah. That cast is nuts, though. Hardy, Oliphant, Guzman, Whitaker. What do you think, Raven Shadow?
Treat, man. Can we watch it next week?
No, we can't, actually. Tom Wu. I think I recognize Tom Wu. Yeah, okay, yeah. He's been in a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so that's the next thing for Gareth Evans. We're going on a little tangent here. But aside from that, it looks like he has another film in pre-production called Undying Love. which is an action drama romance. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, look at this fucking. Oh, it's based on an Image comic. Okay, it's Have you read that, Raven Shadow? Undying Love. It's from Tom Coker and Daniel Friedman. Image Comics.
It may have been a newer book, man.
Might be. Yeah, but it says the synopsis: an ex-soldier falls for a vampire, though in order to be with her, he must take on her creator, who's protected by an army of monsters in the Hong Kong underworld. Yes.
That's pretty fucking dope too.
Yes.
I like it.
Give me that right fucking now. Oh man. That sounds amazing. And then also this is just a rumor. I mean, there's been nothing mentioned since, but he's rumored to be directing a Deathstroke movie. That would be fucking outstanding.
I mean, if he could make it his style,
yes,
it would be amazing.
Agreed.
And one thing I will say is that DC has been a little bit more open to directors kind of putting their own stamp on certain things. Certainly, they bent all the way over for Zack Snyder, but the chances that he could be allowed to do the Raid with Deathstroke, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I will too. But, especially with, I know James Gunn obviously has a little bit more pull these days, especially after what happened with Marvel. But, I mean, he did what he wanted to with Suicide Squad. And also, Peacemaker just dropped today, and apparently people are fucking going nuts over it.
Oh, shit, I didn't realize it dropped today.
Yeah.
I know what I'm watching tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know if HBO Max is doing just an episode at a time or if it's multiple.
I'd be okay with it doing an episode at the time. I kind of like the idea of going back to the old days of, have a week in between things so I don't have to try to binge things.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that aspect. It actually makes me watch it like more religiously.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, and I watched when fourth season of Cobra Kai dropped on Netflix. I watched it in a weekend, and now it's done. Like I have I feel like, at least the way Disney Plus is doing it, I think is smart. Like, I just love that there's a week of discussion around it, and then everyone's wondering what's going to happen next, and everyone's talking about that, and then you just really prolong your properties and keep it in the zeitgeist and have people talking about it. And, maybe Netflix is just like, you know what? Well, we're just on to the next. We're going to go with the next show, and we'll have people talk about that one. And, I guess it's working for them, but, I personally, I'd rather not binge. I like watching things on a weekly basis, even though sometimes when they end, I'm like, no, that's it, But Evil Corny says they dropped 3 episodes today, and it's week to week after that.
Solid. Okay.
So there you go. Evil Corny also says, listening to this beer talk, I now know how MZ felt when you all talk about comic book stuff.
Oh, Corny, grow a beard. You look amazing in a beard.
Yeah, Corny. You should
I've told him that.
Yep.
I've told him that. He won't listen to me.
Oh, that'd be sexy. And actually, Corey's gonna be on Talk Without Rhythm pretty soon, from what I hear.
He is. He's going to be on the next episode. He's has some good picks with Speed Racer and Alita Battle Angel. So that's going to be a good conversation. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, well, what's funny is those are 2 films I have not seen by directors that I enjoy. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's something I would like to check out.
Yeah, it'll be a first time watch for me for Speed Racer, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, same. Like it got panned in theaters, and then ever since, I feel like everyone's like it's so underrated. It's really good, and yeah, I would like to check that out. Cool. That's coming up on Talk Without Rhythm. There you go. Little tease.
Little tease.
Corny says, "I'm chocolate Lex Luthor." All right.
It's a great episode title, but I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, that's a little.
All right. Well, we kind of get off on a tangent, so maybe we're done talking about the movie. So maybe we should head to a verdict and get the official word on what everyone thinks about this, and we'll wrap it all up.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, it is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether the show was a trick or a treat. And any final thoughts? Let's go with our guest, El Goro, and let us know what you thought, man.
All right. Well, straight up, I will say that this is absolutely a treat for me, and is very much in keeping with, as I had alluded to before, where I'm at with my appreciation of Alan Moore. You know, when I was a kid and I was first hearing about Alan Moore and reading some of his comics, I was drawn with kind of his mature take on comic book characters. But it was kind of a surface level thing. And it was later, as I picked up a little bit more sophistication and started kind of digging into the way he tells stories, that my appreciation for him just continued to grow. His use of nested narratives, his use of references, and the positioning of pop cultural artifacts in unexpected but still kind of poignant ways. Those are the things that continually draw me into Alan Moore, as well as his expanding curiosity about the nature of narrative. And all of that is wrapped up inside of the show, while at the same time, with his collaboration with Mitch Jenkins, it's moving beyond to comment upon certain aspects about film. You know, we talked about the various genres that they were playing with in all of this. And so to me, it was exactly what I wanted out of an Alan Moore story. I keep coming back to the caveat, though, that I readily recognize that this will not be for everyone. It's perfectly understandable that some people will be left very cold at the end of watching the show. But for me, yeah, absolutely a treat, and one that I cannot wait to watch again.
Awesome. So, treat for El Goro. Let's go to Aries.
Oh, motherfucker, you're going to come to me after him. God damn it.
The beards got to stick
All right.
together, man.
No, yeah. Can I just go ditto and we move on? Oh, God damn it. Yeah, I mean.
Wait. Do you want me to go Raven Shadow?
Are you Steve Ditto?
Steve Ditto.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fucking Johnny likes to torture me and make me go after fucking El Goro.
No, I'm just used to that's on.
Yeah,
YouTube,
you just have your pattern. Yeah. I see where you're going there. Yeah, El Goro. I mean, he's got a better voice. He's got better words, but he just
got
fucking
better words.
He does.
Yeah, but I don't got your thoughts, man, and your thoughts are what's important, man. Everybody's got a role to play in the great conversation.
Oh, yeah. See, you make my shit sound good out of your fucking mouth. God damn it. See, I'm fucking, I'm a half a bottle in to even just, have the courage to be on the same show as you.
Oh, man, come on.
God damn it. You're just, you articulate things so well, and I just fucking stumble through shit. I don't deserve to be on the same show.
That's fucking bullshit, man, because we bonded over our when we were working the door at that show, and we were just
my God, yes.
That was so fun.
Oh, true. But you know what? The two of us standing beard to beard, I love that. But Johnny, you don't understand.
Yeah, apparently not.
No, because you don't have the beard. But yeah,
this is like an adolescent beard compared to you guys.
Just let it go, man. Just let it grow.
Oh my God, yeah. Now I completely forgot where I was going with this shit.
Well, we'll just get you guys a room. You know, you can talk beards all night.
Yeah, you know what? I would like I could spend hours just talking to fucking El Goro, talking beards, talking whatever. Give me fucking just. It's the world that intimidates me. I don't want to listen. I don't want the world. El Goro, this is just me and you. Everyone just shut your ears.
You say shut
I'm here
your
for you,
ears?
bud. Listen,
Yeah, shut your ears.
what'd you think of the movie, man?
Yeah, see, this is what's going on. Yeah, I had thoughts and now they're fucking gone. Yeah, no, Alan Moore. I mean, because we've experienced him in comics and he's just shunned his movies, and now he's given us a movie. And I mean, I've reread Watchmen multiple times, and every time I've reread it, it's become deeper to me because I've become older and just more experienced with the world. And I look forward to rewatching this movie and becoming more experienced in my world experience as I rewatch it. because I feel like I'm like fucking the drunk idiot right now.
Everyone's gonna play their role, Aries.
Yeah, everyone's gonna play their role. God damn it, that fucking bottle. I think in 20 years we're going to re-experience this movie and go, wow, he was ahead of his time. The same way we look at his comics and realize that he was ahead of his time with The Watchmen, with V for Vendetta. This movie, we're living it now, but it is something we're going to live it in the future. Live this movie now. Check this movie out. This movie is a treat.
All right, now Raven Shadow, how do you feel about following that up?
I have a lot to fucking say. I'll tell you that much. Because I'll tell you right now, I want a podcast with Aries and El Goro called The Brave Beard.
Wait, say that again.
The Brave and the Beard. Because that would be fucking dope as fuck. And I've never seen Aries so smitten.
I know.
And I'm 45, and I've been friends with him since I was 16.
Yeah.
So, and
It's
I've been
fucking El Goro. Come on.
But god damn it, I am fucking aroused right now.
This is a weird show.
I'm
so-
tapping out right now.
But I'm very
You're gonna make
excited.
El Goro uncomfortable. Jeez.
Good night, everybody.
Here we go. It's really cold out here in Ohio. We gotta go.
Oh, I think the internet's cutting out.
How about those bears, man?
I'll see you. See you.
Yeah.
I'll pick up. Listen, I know he's not listening, but I love Alan Moore, and thank you, Alan Moore. Now, here's the thing. He has issues with his adaptations, and I don't disagree with some of those adaptations. But I don't know if this is a criticism, but let's just face it, like Watchmen were based on the Charlton characters, right? I mean, that's not a secret in the comic world, especially now. Those were adapted and modified because DC wanted to integrate them into the DCU proper. He doesn't seem to have an issue using public domain characters, which are those characters in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And I believe he used a James Bond knockoff that was not supposed to be done, the Campion Bond character, and that worked. And also his work on Lost Girls, which was the famous, not Disney princess, but fairy tale princesses, that he adapted other people's work and creation into a kind of a very smutty hardcover book that wouldn't be allowed in certain, you couldn't bring it in certain airports and cross boundaries with it. What I'm saying by that is I think Alan Moore is fantastic, but he's also adapted other people's work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, is that fair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know, like
No.
I
I
was-
mean, you know, and no offense to any writers, but no writer is completely original. I mean, you build on top of ideas that came before you and try to put a twist on them, you know? And yeah, I mean, he absolutely has written, you know, like done sort of like cover band type stuff for certain things, you know?
and that's not a criticism. I just say,
No, not at all.
How is that different from some people? But with that said, thank you, Alan Moore. And I think I fucking adored this movie. And once again, right, if you're expecting Swamp Thing or Hellblazer, probably not. Is it fit in with Alan Moore's work and his sensibilities? Fucking yeah. The dialogue is there because the motherfucker wrote it. And I adored it. I love the main character who looked kind of like a European stunt double for Twilight, Patterson. Liked his vibe. That's for you, Aries. I did that on purpose.
He did it. He named the role.
Yep. I like that. I liked his the lip thing going on. I liked his hair.
The lip thing going on.
Yeah, I liked him. He made me chuckle. He was like Twilight meets Sebastian Stan, but make him British. Treat, man. Thank you, Alan Moore. I like your beard in this movie. You keep writing them. I'll keep reading them, brother.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say European Sebastian Stan?
I'm not sure what I said, but yeah, it's like, and it was part of that. It was like, what I say? It was Twilight meets European Sebastian Stan. He was the Winter Soldier.
Well, no, I know who he is, but technically he is the European Sebastian Stan.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You said he's like the European Sebastian Stan, but he is fucking European.
Wait, Sebastian Stan's European?
He's born in Romania.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Sebastian, pick up. I don't think. Was he
Why does that matter?
It doesn't. No, I love Romania. Yeah. But
I love Romania. Oh.
I'm going for a walk.
I'm going for a stumble.
Going for a stumble. I wish you heard. I hope you heard that. All right, you finished Raven Shadow, right?
A treat.
All right. So, yeah, I'm not going to say a ton more about this. I think you guys put it very eloquently, and I did really enjoy this. I loved the way it looked, the way it was filmed. I loved the script. The characters were really memorable and stood out, and that's something that I just love about a movie. Even if it's a bit character who's on screen for a minute, if you remember that character or some characteristic of that, character, I think that's really, I just think that's a really good, strong character. And, we know that Alan Moore has done that his whole career. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that I would love to see Alan Moore write some more fucking scripts. And even if he works with his boy here, Mitch, I would love to see them do another film, because he is an amazing writer, and this definitely comes through in this. His characters and the story and everything is so purposefully done, and it's super smart and and very layered. And it's a movie that, as we've said many times, really could benefit from multiple watches, not even just a second watch, but multiple watches. And the attention to detail is just all there. It's just a really good film. I'm so glad we ended up doing this. We almost did it last year, and then we didn't end up doing it last year, and I was kind of scrambling for something for this week. But I'm super glad that we did this, because otherwise I might not have seen it so so soon. I might have waited a little while. So I'm glad. And yeah, and as Al Goro said, this film is definitely not going to work for everybody. It's all about that conversation we have about the engagement. If you're engaged, you'll be totally fine with two 12-year-old private investigators, things like that. If you're not engaged and it's just not working for you, some of the stuff is gonna seem silly. I totally will acknowledge that, but it sounds like it worked for all of us. And yeah, I mean, it's Alan fucking Moore, and he's in it. You get to see him, and he's in a fucking eternal wizard battle in this movie.
That's true.
So, and there's a lot of references to, to magic and just sort of all the things that he loves. Is really just sort of if you're a fan of his previous work, I just don't think there's any way you won't find something to enjoy about this. A lot of esotericism and talk about the Rosicrucians and lots of stuff. So it's super interesting, and I think people will really dig this if you're a fan of Alan Moore. And even if you're not, if you're a fan of interesting cinema with interesting characters, then give it a look. That was weird. I saw lights floating across Ares' camera, but that was his headset. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Orbs, man. The ghosts.
Yeah. So there you have it. Our discussion of Alan Moore's The Show. We get treats all around. Marion says, I love this movie too. Thank God for subtitles, though.
Fair enough.
Interesting. I mean, I understood most of it, but I guess maybe it could benefit a little bit more from subtitles. And also, Raven Shadow, Corny says Pattinson is already British. So both of the people you mentioned are European.
Is he though?
Yes. Yeah, he's from
he
London.
is.
So what? Is fucking Gary Oldman British too?
What the fuck?
I know that. I know.
Oh, I get the joke, Raven Shadow. What do you
I
mean?
don't think Gary Oldman knows anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
He got lost in too many roles.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our discussion of the show. If you guys happen to check this out in the future and have some thoughts and want to send them our way, feel free to do so. You can always voice message or email to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. And unfortunately, this is where we say goodbye to our good friend El Goro. We are going to take a break after we say goodbye to El Goro. So we'll take a quick break, come back. We have at least one voice message. I'll double check to see if we got any others. But it's from somebody that lives over in the UK, Raven Shadow.
Oh.
Oh, fucking Addison.
No, it's not Robert Pattinson. It is our newest Terminator tier Patreon supporter, Linus, who Al Goro knows.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So
You can comment on how wrong we got all the stuff from England.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, that is going to wrap up the discussion. So, El Goro, please, as you typically do, let folks know where they can find your podcast and find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Sure. Well, if you want to hear more about the stuff that I do, there's the Talk Without Rhythm podcast, which is my weekly movie discussion podcast. Every episode, we choose two films that are somewhat tied together by a theme and talk about them. Right now, we're just kicking off the new round of Patreon picks, where my very generous patrons have booked the episodes of the show. The most recent of which that has been released at the time of this recording was episode 601, where I sat down with Thomas WF to discuss Cabaret and Saturday Night Fever. And next episode, we're going to have Evil Corny on with his Patreon picks of Speed Racer and Alita Battle Angel. So I always have fun with the Patreon picks because sometimes it'll be films that are completely out of left field. Other times it'll be films that I've wanted to talk about but haven't gotten around to. Other times it's just films I've heard of but haven't gotten around to seeing. So it's always great to get into the Patreon picks.
Yeah, it's always cool. I mean, we do the Patreon takeovers usually monthly, and it's always interesting. We get some pretty cool flicks. I think our last one was with EF Contentment, and he picked two films: Even the Wind is Afraid, Mexican gothic horror, and The Silent Partner with Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer. Which I hadn't seen either of them, so I'm thankful because both those movies were pretty good. So it's cool to kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit and check out some films you might not have normally seen. So I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the great thing about being a movie fan. There's always something new out there to explore.
Oh yeah,
even if it's old.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So El Goro, as always, it's a pleasure, my friend, and we'll I know this won't be the last time we'll have you on again sometime, especially if there's another Astron 6 movie coming down the pike.
There we go.
I think we've had you on for every single one, if I'm not mistaken. So
everything except Father's Day.
That's
I
right.
brought Manborg on, and then you guys were like, we need to see more Astron 6, and then you checked out Father's Day.
That's right. We did it the following week because we were so smitten with them that you brought us Manborg, and then we were so smitten that we did Father's Day the next week. So that's right. We that's the only one I think you missed, but otherwise I think all the ones we've done since then, we've had you on for The Editor and The Void. I think you were on for The Void, right?
Pretty sure I was on for The Void. I don't know.
And Psycho Gorman. We didn't have you on for the Leprechaun movie, but that's okay.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best. But that was just Steven Kostansky doing some for Sci-Fi. One for them, one for me kind of deal. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so everyone go check out Talk Without Rhythm and check in with our boy El Goro and consider supporting him on his Patreon as well. He does lots of good stuff over there. So, folks, give him a look. And Goro, thanks again, man. It's always a pleasure to talk film with you, and appreciate your perspective and your friendship and your support over the years.
Pleasure is absolutely mine, guys. Thank you so much.
You got it, man. All right, we're going to cut to a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
we have action.
horror.
An adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast,
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast!
a podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I'm Alex West. And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
Hey there, this is R.A. Salvatore, call me Bob, and you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
All right, we're back on Trick or Treat Radio. Aries, you're a little smitten there with El Goro.
Smitten. He is fucking a smart guy.
He is.
I am very intimidating when he comes on the show.
It's so funny because
lie.
I've never heard you talk like this ever.
Really? Oh, I can't even his vocabulary is far beyond mine. And because of that, I am intimidated by him. Yes.
It's kind of cute. It's kind of adorable.
It is. It's adorable. Yes. There we go. Holy crap. What the fuck did I just do?
Listener discretion is advised.
What
I don't
the
know. I
fuck?
can hear the show though.
You can hear it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking hit the wrong button. God damn it.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Raven
Yeah,
Child.
no, yeah, but you know what? I love having Al Goro on, but yes, I am intimidated when he comes on.
You are intimidating too, to some people.
Well, because you know what? He is probably one of the few people that isn't physically intimidated by me. So he is smarter than me and more, not necessarily more, but not physically intimidated by me. So physically and mentally, he is equally or superior to me.
Oh man, Raven Child, we're just talking about how adorable the crush Aries has on El Goro is.
I love it.
Oh, Evil Corny says, Aries, I'm on his podcast this weekend, and I hope I don't sound like an idiot.
Is he saying I sound like an idiot?
Are you intimidated by Evil Corny?
A little bit. He's better looking than me.
Marion says, Aries, are those Hasselblad cameras on your shelf?
Are they what?
Can you see the chat? She took a picture of it and circled it.
No, I had to shut that off because somehow I hit the audio. So Hassel what?
So the cameras, it looks like there's two cameras behind you. Are there? On the shelf? On the shelf.
I have. Oh, two. Yes, cameras. Yes.
She was asking if they're Hasselblad cameras.
Nope. Nope. Neither one of those.
David Hasselblad.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention what we're going to do next week. So I'll take the opportunity to do that now. And so I guess this is kind of an announcement, but we had talked about in the last week what we're going to be doing moving forward.
Get off my chest.
Fucking son of a goddamn! I'm throwing this in the goddamn trash.
How was that?
This
is you.
This is what happens when you mix alcohol and technology.
Why do you think? We're probably going to say the same thing. Go ahead, Raven Shadow.
That's why I picked one.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why we don't let Raven Shadow drink on the show. Or,
yeah.
Or, well, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's your house, so. All right, so so we kind of circled the wagon, so to speak. We were trying to think about what we're going to do, and now without MZ, this is last week was the first episode without him, and Rave Jow's doing his best Lloyd Dobler impersonation, and so we were wondering what we're going to be doing moving forward, and so what we're going to do is we're going to have a kind of like not like a carousel of guests, I guess, or like a rotating guest spot. And we have a bunch already lined up. And I had asked earlier in Discord what people wanted, if you guys wanted to know ahead of time or if you guys wanted to be surprised. And people like surprises. Look at that, right? So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it a surprise. And maybe we'll drop some hints here and there on the week before, but yeah, we're going to keep it a surprise. So next week we do have a guest lined up, and Raven Shadow might even be surprised by the guest because I think he was supposed to set it up, and then I had to pick up the ball because I didn't hear from him. So
it's fucking hard with this particular person. Just saying,
Raven Shadow, it's hard to schedule people, period. Now you know my fucking life. All these years, man. 9.5 years. How many guests have I got us on the show? Count them.
A lot.
That's why I don't really go for like the big ticket ones anymore. It's too fucking hard.
You're producer extraordinaire, but no, it could be exciting. It could be exciting next week.
So we do have a guest lined up for next week. And all I'll say, it's someone you've heard on the show before, and it's someone you heard very early on. Maybe I'd have to look, but maybe even in the first year of the show. And you want to give any other teasers, Raven Shadow?
I mean, this person may have a PhD in certain things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whether it be pain, that could be one of them. But it could be very exciting. Might have ties with only myself, but another Patreon.
All right, you're giving too much now. Just a tease, Raven Shadow.
All right, just a tip.
Just a tip. I think that's good. So we're looking forward to that. Should be a lot of fun, and I think we're going to have fun with the segment, and we'll keep it a surprise for the next couple months. We have guests lined up for months, at least close to a couple months right now. So so looking forward to seeing what happens with those. Should be interesting. We're going to keep it fresh. Keep some guests coming in and out, and do that as we kind of continue to work on the next steps. You know, we have some ideas. Some of the ideas are going to take some time to kind of formulate and to put into motion. So we don't want to rush anything, but when we're ready to talk about it, we'll let you guys know. But for the foreseeable future, we'll be having a carousel of guests, and we do have one lined up for next week, and looking forward to the conversations coming up. So it should be fun. And
really, with the hand talk.
Yes, Raven. I don't always look at the camera feed, so you gotta.
God damn! There's
just talk.
There's three of us. Just talk.
How about a carousel of coverage?
I changed my mind. Don't talk. I'm drunk and I sound better than you.
Well, I don't. All right. Well, let's play back the entire message. Let's.
All right. So next week, I was trying to think of a film that we could do. I decided to go with the one that I was originally going to do for this week, but didn't come out. Because I just think it would be an interesting conversation, no matter who we have on as a guest. And so we're going to go with a film called The Free Fall. And it's a film that is getting released tomorrow on VOD on January 14th. And it is, I always love when they do this, but it says from the executive producer of Get Out. There was probably 10 executive producers. So one of them was Jordan Peele. So, of course, you're left to think like, oh, well, it must be Jordan Peele. But I looked at the credits, and I don't really know who that person is. So it's just one of those sort of movie marketing things. But it's a film that is directed by Adam Stillwell, who just trying to think. I think it's his feature debut. He did a film in 2016 called The Triangle, which I have not seen. So it is a second film, and he also has a short to his credit. But he's done some other stuff. Has some production credits and even some acting credits. So we'll check out Adam Stillwell's The Free Fall. And the synopsis: after attempting to take her own life, a young woman must wrestle with an overbearing husband. Oh, wait, maybe I shouldn't have taken this for next week. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been getting some pretty good praise, and it looks like it's going to could bring about some interesting discussion. So we will be checking that out next week. So The Free Fall, it will be available on VOD starting tomorrow on Friday, January 14th. I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like pretty much everywhere. Amazon and iTunes and all that stuff. So I'll double check that though. Prime, let's see. Well, I guess it's not there yet because it's coming out tonight. So, but yeah, I think this is coming out everywhere tomorrow. So give it a look. And if you guys want to play along and give us your thoughts, feel free to send them next week on the show. Send them to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. All right, first time Mike just popped in. And he said, FTM just popping in to say hello to all you family. Last week's show was great, and I know this one will be good too. Well, thanks, first time Mike. Appreciate that. And he says, work's been kicking my ass. Inventory sucks. Yeah. Apparently, I know first time Mike works in the grocery industry, but apparently there's a one store near me, like grocery store near me that some coworkers of mine had said that apparently like they can't keep the shelves stocked because COVID basically ran through the fucking grocery store, so like everyone's called out sick, and I guess they just can't even. There's not even enough people to stock the shelves right now. So, probably a tough time to be an essential worker, and I thankfully have the ability to work from home, which I just actually picked up my computer today and be working from home for the foreseeable future. But I know there's a lot of people that cannot do that because their job involves going to a fucking location. So, see you, Raven Shadow. He probably didn't even hear what the movie was.
No, it's a working movie. We do.
What's that?
Doing the movie with the grocery store workers.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep.
No, Ollie was knocking. I throw a baby. Yeah, no, it's a problem with the COVID. Can't get shit. You know what I mean? Like, why can't you get cat food? Like, cat food is fucking the shelves are bare. It's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. All right, so next week the free fall.
Thank you. Free fall. Yeah, free fall. The Tom Petty movie.
Yeah, the Tom Petty movie, exactly. So we'll be doing that with a mystery guest, which we'll reveal next week when the show begins. Let's see. We got a voice message, but is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I know we kind of just went, caught up with El Goro and ran right into the film discussion. But is there anything that? Raven Shadow, raising your hand. Yeah, go ahead.
I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
I thought it was sweet.
Like sweet or sweet?
Like sweet. Like I thought it was very touching and endearing. It was funny, not in the 80s. I mean, I don't think Ghostbusters needs to be a brand. Now, I'm saying that having loved, even I still adore Part 2, and I enjoyed I loved the cartoon when I was a kid. But I thought this was for a movie that should have come out probably 20 years earlier if Aykroyd and Ramis had their druthers. I thought it was a nice send-off to the original films, and also sets up for the future. And I thought it was very touching and endearing. It's funny, like at 45 years old, I need to not. Is it weird that I'm fucking crying at Spider-Man and Ghostbuster movies? It's fucking shouldn't be a fucking thing. Like I shouldn't be.
Why shouldn't it be a thing?
But it's like why am I fucking getting that emotional? But it does. It has impact on me. But
then it's doing its job. Would this movie have its punch if it was made 20 years ago?
It's not fair to say.
Why isn't it fair? Why is it fair to say?
Oh, I think it would have been a different movie because you would have gotten the original band back together one more time for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Or obviously we couldn't do that now. But did you see it, Aries? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it, but if you had made Ghostbusters 3 20 years ago, this movie probably would have lost its punch because it would not have had that feeling that it has. Correct?
Yes, you're right, but I think it would have been a different feeling.
Well, you wouldn't have this movie.
Right.
This
right.
would not have been a direct sequel, even though it is. This would not have been a direct sequel to the first two movies if it had been made 10 years ago.
Agree. Right. So yes. So the emotionality that I felt watching this could not have happened if it was done in a different time.
Yeah. I mean, this is a soft reboot because you don't need to see the first two, right?
And true. And to be fair, you don't. How you could not? It'd be a struggle, but right. You don't necessarily need that.
What do you mean? How could you have not?
What do I mean?
What do you mean?
You just said, how could you have not? Meaning, how could you have not seen the first two?
It will be how could if my point in that is that how could somebody? Well, I mean, Monster Zero, he saw Raiders of the Lost Ark at fucking 42, so I guess that's a thing. But like, to someone to not see Ghostbusters,
there are many people who have not seen Ghostbusters, and
right.
there are many people who don't view
Stevie,
it the same way we do,
Stevie
so they're not going to expose their children to it.
Didn't see that. Ray Charles didn't see Ghostbusters, so I understand that.
Jesus. Wow.
Oh my God. Are you going to be like critical of someone who didn't love the movie so they didn't make their children watch it?
No, I'm not being critical. I'm just saying it was very
popular.
That's what you are doing.
But even though it's popular, not everyone's seen it. Like, I get shit for not have seeing the Sandlot or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like essential films to some people, but
a lot too, Johnny. Though too, you were also of a certain age too, right? Like I've never seen The Sandlot fully either.
Well, that's not that weird for you.
Okay, then why are you giving someone shit for not seeing Ghostbusters?
I'm not giving anyone shit. Can we get old Goro back so we can get Eric being nice?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Then why do you find it hard to believe someone hasn't seen Ghostbusters?
I would be surprised if you're into a certain genre, or if you would see Ghostbusters Afterlife. I would think that you would be of a certain age to see Ghostbusters. It's very
okay. No, but you're dealing with parents and children, so it is possible that the parents did not see Ghostbusters, but the children are interested in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
But where the age of the parents though?
Yes, I understand that. But it is possible that parents that had no interest in Ghostbusters gave birth to children that now have an interest in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
It is conceivable.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Fine. Then okay. No one. Fine. Did you ever see Citizen Kane?
Yes.
Thank you.
What does that prove anything?
I don't know. What I'm trying to say, I think we can all agree.
No.
No. Just because MZ's gone doesn't mean the rules change.
Yeah. He might have been okay with you speaking for him. Neither of us are.
Yeah, the one guy who was okay with you speaking for him is gone.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The rules buckle down even further now.
All right, I'm going to speak for Monster Zero right now.
Oh boy.
And you're going to be wrong.
Right here with.
I guarantee you're going to be wrong.
I could probably do a better Monster Zero impression than he can.
Yeah, but you're going to be wrong speaking of pop culture.
Thank you. But no, what I'm trying to say is that regardless of the hole you're trying to push me into, it was a very popular film in the 80s. Ain't Afraid No Ghosts. But I was moved by the picture. I think the cast was great. It was funny in a different kind of way. And I was moved. And I enjoyed the picture. Do you want to come over and watch Ghostbusters, Aries?
Oh, funny that you say that now, because Marion says I told Raven Shadow to invite Aries over, but Raven Shadow said the house was too messy for company.
You watched it at your house?
Wow, Marion. I guess you're gonna the bus.
Excuse me, I was ready to freeze my ass off in the backseat of your car.
Yeah. But now that the house is involved.
In the house? In the motherfucking house?
Do you think he cares about how messy your house is? He's known you for, what, 30 years?
Since I was 17. Right.
I've been at the manor.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
That's true. That's fucked up, Marion. Yeah. But no,
I can't. So you rented this motherfucker and you watched it in the comfort of your own home, and you didn't invite me.
You want to come over and watch Ghostbusters on Sunday?
Are you gonna rent it again?
Yeah, no, we got it. We'll get cheese pizza.
You bought it?
I don't know how we got it, but we have it. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we'll watch it. We'll watch that. We'll watch Street Smart on Sunday. We'll get a bunch of cheese pizzas.
What the fuck is Street Smart?
The fucking movie with Christopher Reeve that Corny got me. I was waiting to watch till you came over.
Oh my god, are we going like 6 months back here?
No, like fucking 4 episodes ago.
I love how it's in the one room without a TV in it.
Well, I got fucking 3 rooms with TVs in it.
I know. And you got the movie in the one room without a TV. You just very nonchalantly like pulled that shit up.
I'm waiting to watch it with you. All right.
Do you want? What else is on that stack there? What are the other 2 movies there?
The other movie, I got a book of Eli I'm gonna watch for Aries, Corny, and this.
Oh, I say 2. That's a big stack. We got 5 there.
And this is the Giallo thing in the Robert Rodriguez book. But no, do you want to? I'm off on Monday. Do you want to come over on Sunday?
I can't come over on Sunday.
You want to come over on Monday?
Maybe Monday. Sunday night, like that's the one night I can't.
All right.
Marion says, this is earlier. She says, oh my God, we saw Ghostbusters this weekend and watched it mostly in one sitting. Raven Shadow.
Even one sitting?
I am shocked. Mostly.
I could have got that motherfucker to sit there for 2 hours.
And then she said, then Raven Shadow watched Karate Kid 3 in one sitting.
You watched that bad motherfucker in one sitting?
Because I was getting anxiety about the new season, and I'm like...
You had to see Terry Silver, huh?
And to see fucking Terry Silver. And it's funny, watching that, Marion, you fucking really caused some problems today. Thank you, babe.
I'm loving Marion tonight. She's my favorite. Marion, next time we go out to drink, all your drinks are on me.
So no, and I watched the previous season finale, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't think I've ever saw fucking part 3, but I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. I think truly what I didn't see was the denouement, which is French when Danny LaRusso fucking
French for Danny LaRusso.
Yeah. But goddamn, Terry Silver chews scenery like a motherfucker in part 3. But goddamn, it's not good.
Yeah, you better watch the next Karate Kid too, because you're gonna be fucking lost.
Wait, they made a sequel to the next Karate Kid?
There's part 3.
He said,
and then
you said
there's the movie called The Next Karate Kid.
Well, you did say you got to watch the next Karate Kid too.
Right.
Oh, I meant as well.
with Boxer, with Alias.
Boxer.
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank.
Yeah, you better watch that before you watch the finale of Cobra Kai.
Don't give me anxiety.
I'm not giving you anxiety. You better watch that shit. I'm trying to help you.
I'm 5 episodes in.
Yeah, don't. Before you go any further. Next Karate Kid.
I haven't seen. I've never seen Next Karate Kid, and I guess maybe.
Oh, so you better too.
Why I finished Cobra Kai. I guess I don't know what it was. What the reference is.
You're not helping me, Joey.
Oh, he's fucking yeah. So should I watch fucking the Will Smith?
Yeah, watch the Will Smith one too. Yeah.
You need to watch the Will Smith one too. Oh my God, I'm surprised you're even getting it.
When you're missing out. When Jackie Chan tells him, "I'm gonna teach you the true meaning of kung fu," and it's called the Karate Kid. Fucking, it's not the same fucking sport, dog.
The Kung Fu Kid.
Right.
First time Mike says he was crying at the end of Ghostbusters Afterlife. And Marion says she got a little misty too. And
You
then,
see, I probably would have been crying too, but Raven Shadow didn't invite me.
it's true.
No. Listen,
No, it's true. You didn't invite him.
Yeah, I'm listening.
it wasn't even about that. It wasn't even about that.
It was about what?
Yeah, but you didn't invite him.
Listen,
I'm listening.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both. Everyone, the world is
The world
listening.
is listening to you, Raven Shadow, right now.
listen. I love you.
You love the world?
No, I love you. I love you. You know, I love you. But I feel that you get mad at me.
I get mad at you when you don't invite me over to watch a movie.
Will you come over this weekend and watch the movie with me?
I just told you I can't come over on Sunday.
He said maybe Monday. Also, I just looked. I forgot to look at Facebook chat. JB is hanging out, and he says, "My wife's in her 40s. I'm in my 30s, and I have 2 very young kids. All of us absolutely love the new Ghostbusters. Not sure age has much to do with it."
Thank you, JB. He knows.
Evil Corny says, "Wait, Marion and Ravenshaw didn't let Aries tag along to the drive-in?"
Man, you really fucked up a lot of shit for me tonight, by the way.
And that's why we love her.
Oh man. So good. All right, so let me see what else we got here. If there's any more chat. Marion says she could watch it again. Evil Corny says he's crying laughing. I don't know why I flipped to Facebook real quick and I saw someone posted a picture of Stone Cold Jane Austen.
Stone Cold Jane Austen?
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
I'm curious now.
All right, I'll share with you guys.
Okay.
Stone Cold Jane Austen. Oh, that shit's funny. That one hit me like in the right time.
A little disturbing. Yes, thank you for sharing that one.
All right, so Marion says I'm cackling right now. Sorry, baby. Kinda. It's so cute. You guys call each other baby. It's almost like MZ and Creepy Girl. Oh wait, he's not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah, well, one's a real relationship.
Yeah, and one should be a real one. Can we talk? Can we talk about that real quick? I don't want to spend too much time on it, but like, literally,
right?
Yeah. I mean, how perfect is that, right?
Right. Like, I don't want to disparage any, whatever the fuck.
Current involvement. We're not disparaging any of that, but like, how perfect is that?
On paper, right? If you were booking that, if you were
Right.
if you were doing a trade,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, she's like, I'm living all alone in North Carolina. Like,
bartender, like stuff.
But no,
doing it.
Let's go to Maine.
That would make sense to me. That would calm me down.
I think it would calm everyone down, but it's not to be, apparently. So unless we can have an intervention and do what we said and kidnap them, I don't think that's gonna happen. So
Creepy Girl, it's the spare rooms over here. If you want to come up, you can do you could fucking a base camp, and then we can get the main. After
you speak like she still listens. We don't have MZ anymore,
that's
so
true.
we don't
She
have
might
Creepy
not.
Girl.
Yeah, she might not anymore. Who knows?
Oh, she's dope.
She's cool as hell, but she's not listening anymore.
All right, so we do have a voice message. One thing I got to ask: Did any of you guys watch Chapter 3 of Book of Boba Fett that came out yesterday?
I did.
Raven Shadow?
Not yet, brother.
How about that cameo, Aries?
It was good. It was good.
Raven Chat, we're
was
not going to
good.
say anything. We're not going to say anything. Put your fucking headphones on. Put your headphones on. We're not going to say anything. That's all I'm saying. That cameo. That's it.
Thank you.
You're going to be very happy. That's all I'll say.
I'm gonna watch. And by the way, fucking Marion watched the Eternals without me. You know, yeah.
Wow. Oh, so you're airing dirty laundry now.
Yeah, if we're gonna get into it.
Now, did she watch it while you were asleep on the couch?
No.
When did
Not
she
this-
watch it? Like
I
when
wasn't
she
there.
wasn't with you at all?
Yeah.
Aw.
Did she start it with you?
Aw.
No.
No. No.
No.
Someone's mad.
No, I'm not mad. You're just saying. You know.
All right. So we do have a voice message, and it is a top 5 from Raven Shadow's boy in Wales, Linus. So let's check in with Linus, and let's see what's going on. Let's see what his top 5 is all about.
Hello, Trick or Treat Radio. It's Linus. How's it going? I tried to call in on New Year's Eve with some top 5 lists, but I was too far gone and the message didn't make any sense. It was just me saying the names of movies and making sounds. So I'm going to have another go. First up, top 5 movies that you covered on the show last year. Just a quick honorable mention for Saint Maud.
Yeah.
Which just fell outside the top 5. The deciding factor perhaps being that no one in Saint Maud fucked a car, which is why Titan takes number 5. It's fucking crazy, brilliant, and yada yada yada. Number 4, The Green Knight. Some excellent stoned Ethereum bullshit. Number 3, but number 1 in my heart, Psycho Gorman. Perhaps the only reason I still have a Shudder account, just to rewatch that every couple of weeks. Number 2, Last Night in Soho. Like probably the most fun I had going to the cinema all last year. And number 1, The Empty Man.
Yeah.
Which I've already gone on about plenty, and it's excellent. Films you didn't cover. Number 5, Fulci Talks. Just a documentary I saw at an online festival. Just an archive interview with Lucio Fulci, talking shit about Argento and stuff, and see him in like quite chuffed that he sort of recently found that he had like quite a fan base, and sort of aware of his own worth as a filmmaker, which was like really like heartwarming to see. Number 4, Nobody. Better Call Saul, teaming up with Christopher Lloyd and RZA, doing some John Wick shit. It was fucking glorious. Number 3, Many Saints of Newark. It's no Sopranos, so it's a no-brainer. Number 2, Dinner in America, which is like a really sweet sort of punk rock mix of Heathers and Napoleon Dynamite. It was fucking hilarious and really nice. And number 1, Pig. Fucking Nick Cage being the fucking man. One last list of top 5. It's top 5 big ass fucking bullshit franchise movies. Number 5, No Way Home. I almost could have picked Shang-Chi over this, but I kind of felt like the arse kind of fell out of Shang-Chi in the 3rd act, whereas Spider-Man kind of stuck the landing, and you know, you had everybody all up in there, and it was a lot of fun. The Suicide Squad, it's a fucking hoot, and I'm excited for more Peacemaker. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. Yeah, it was a surprisingly affecting and entertaining 3rd fucking ending to that ridiculous fucking anime series. Godzilla vs. Kong number 2. My boy Godzilla went hard. The human bullshit was some bullshit, but the pace was snappy and the fights were great. And number 1, Dune. Dune was Dune, and it was fucking great. So yeah, hope you're all well. Have a good show.
All right, some awesome lists there, Linus. Thank you for checking in with those. And next time, send the voice message when you're smashed. That would always be fun to hear. You could always do a follow up. Raven Show, what do you think of lists?
I love Linus so much.
That's not what I asked, but I'm sure he
telling-
appreciates hearing that.
No, I think it's dope. I think it's dope, or brilliant, as they say across the pond.
Raven Show, do you know what chuffed means? Take a wild guess. What does chuffed mean?
Can you use it in a sentence?
Yes, I'm just pulling this from the internet, so because I had to look it up. I thought that I knew what it was, and I was mostly right. But so the example here is, I'm dead chuffed to have won.
Wait, I'm deaf chuffed 201.
Dead. I'm dead chuffed to have won.
I'm dead chuffed to have won.
Yeah.
One of what?
He was really chuffed with his present. He's really chuffed about passing the exam. She was chuffed about getting a pay raise. The good news...
Excited. Just go quicker if you just said no.
Excited. I'm very braggadocious. I'm very excited.
Not
I'm very,
braggadocious. It's very pleased.
Yeah, that's what I said. Excited.
You said excited.
It isn't.
Yeah. Use it in a sentence now, Raven Shadow.
I'll be very chuffed when this fucking show is over.
You will be. The listeners can't fucking wait.
I'll be very chuffed when Aries comes over my house to watch fucking Ghostbusters and eat cheese
Well,
pizza.
then fucking invite me, motherfucker.
I get anxiety. I think you have anxiety.
I don't. You talk about you want me to come over, and then you don't fucking invite me over.
I do. I miss you. I want to give you a hug and a kiss with the mask on. I miss you. All right. Can we make that happen? Will you come over, please?
Not Sunday, but pick a fucking day.
All right. Do Monday or next Friday. That's far out.
I will pencil that in right now. Look at that. I'm gonna write that.
All right.
Write that down.
Let's do next
Friday. Friday. Raven. How do you spell shadow? Shadow.
W.
Is that with a U?
Bomb.
Y. How many X's in that?
A lot.
Marion says she saw Book of Boba Fett, Raven Shadow.
What the fuck?
She
can't be waiting around for you.
And she said the cameo was not at all surprising. And then she said, did anyone else notice ... I'm not going to say the name in case people haven't seen it. But there's another quick little cameo. I won't say anything. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah,
but
don't
yes,
say anymore.
Yes, I did notice that, Marion. We actually talked about that on Force Insensitive. And then she also says, Raven Shadow, she says, we never discussed we'd watch Eternals together, by the way.
Ooh,
Why
snap.
would we fucking not? It's all right. Well, we'll take it offline.
And
well, being that there's all this new content and like she's watching it and you're not, like she can't be waiting around for you.
That's true. You'd be waiting around for an eternity to watch the Eternals.
I mean, mind you, me who doesn't watch fucking TV, I've watched Boba Fett and I tried to watch the Eternals, but I fell asleep.
Thank you.
What do you mean, thank you?
Yeah. Why are you saying thank you?
Because Aries works for a living, and when you're tired, when you finally sit down.
But I tried.
Me too, Joe. Me too, Aries. I try a lot.
You didn't try. How much of it did you watch?
I was waiting. Well, yeah.
I made it through a half hour. I'm going to start it at the 30-minute mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. What? What are you thinking? Marion also says, Raven Shadow, if Alexa was set up, you could just ask her.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah, I don't trust her.
Alexa or Marion?
Oh, she's got to pay her dues.
I feel like this is like the last half of this. Maybe like the end of the show will turn into like a relationship like podcast where we have like one party typing in a chat room and the other party trying to answer for what's going on.
like Trick or Treat Radio Love Line.
Yeah,
there you
exactly. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. All right, so I don't know, man. I think that's trying to think if there's anything else to bring up. Oh, my iPad's about to die, so there's that. So we can't talk.
Of course it is.
Too much longer. You guys probably didn't because it dropped today, but you guys have interest in checking out Peacemaker?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I want to see Peacemaker, but this is the first time I'm going to fucking say this. My fucking kid decided he needed to tell my wife that she would like Suicide Squad.
Oh,
so now I need to rewatch Suicide Squad before I can now start watching Peacemaker.
Yeah, but that's not a bad fucking thing because
well, it is because I just want to fucking watch Peacemaker.
But listen, Lo,
on my own time.
Despite thank you, so Aries, thank you for justifying my position. But before Marion went rogue and started watching everything under the sun without me, Suicide Squad was our go-to, like default, like calm us down movie because it's so fucking dope.
I just want to clarify, you're my wife in this scenario.
Thank you.
That's not really a compliment.
Why?
I'm with Marion. I want to watch shit. I can't be waiting for you.
Well, to be fair, Aries, it wasn't the first time I've been compared to your wife.
I know. And to be fair, she's a little more masculine than you.
That's fair. That's true.
I would not fuck with what do we have an official name for your wife on
Your Highness? I just
well, that works. For you, that works.
Yeah.
But I would pick a fight with Raven Shadow before I pick a fight with her. And you don't even care, Raven Shadow. You don't even mind. You understand.
I ain't gonna fuck with that. I was there.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm interested in checking out Peacemaker. I think they dropped 3 episodes today, so there is that, and I don't know, probably some lots of good stuff out there. So, all right. So I think that'll wrap things up, though, and next week, as I mentioned, we'll be talking about the movie The Freefall, and we will have a surprise guest. So you'll have to tune in next week. Tune in live Thursday night. I guess it would be the 20th, Thursday, January 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We don't often talk about this, but I know we have a lot of people listen to the podcast, and there's a small percentage of people that listen to the podcast that actually check out the live show. But we do stream live on Thursday evenings. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, around there. We usually start a few minutes late, as we always seem to run into some sort of tech issue or something like that. But, yeah, you guys should check out a live show and see who the guest is going to be next week. We're available on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and just look for Trick or Treat Radio. We have a channel there. You can go to trickortreatradio.com. That's probably the best place because we got the chat room right there. And you can watch live right on trickortreatradio.com. If you go to the website, there will be a place where you can click Watch Live, or at the top of the page, it talks about the latest episode up there. You can click that as well, and it'll bring you right to the Watch Live page, and you can tune in. So, yeah, if you guys have never checked out a live show, you should check it out. All right, well, that is going to do it. So why don't we go around and say our goodbyes, starting with Aries.
All right. Yeah, if you enjoyed what you heard tonight, stay tuned for Beards of Glory, where El Goro speaks, and I swoon over him for a couple of hours. But other than that, goodbye.
Beards of Glory. All right, Rave Channel.
Once again, if you came here for El Goro, you know, and you were marginally entertained by anything you heard, especially some kind of domestic disputes, keep checking us out. And once again, if you love us or even just like us a lot, just fucking like us and subscribe on wherever you can on fucking the platforms, because it really helps a lot. We love the Patreons, but even with all the noise out there, just fucking click the fucking like button or give us a 4-star rating and just fucking lie. That's okay too. We'd appreciate that. But until then, live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
All right, and they actually brought up something I wanted to mention. I forgot, Raven Chow, so look at you. Now, if for folks who listen to us on Spotify now has the ability to leave a 5-star review. They never used to, but now they do. So if you do listen to us on Spotify, we'd appreciate if you guys would click the 5 stars, and then I think they have a way that you can leave a quick review. If they do, we'd appreciate that. Let folks know what you dig about the show, because as Raven Shadow said, there's a lot of static out there, a lot of movie discussion, a lot of horror shows, and we would like to kind of cut through that static and find some new ears. So if you dig what we do, consider leaving that 5-star, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you listen. A lot of places have that ability. So, but Spotify just added it, and if you're not on Spotify, the cool thing I like about the way that they do it is you have to actually have listened to a couple episodes to be able to leave a review, instead of just going in like, someone has a show that you don't like the name of or something like that. You can't just give them a 1-star and then fuck off. You have to listen to like a few episodes or something like that before you can leave a review. So I think that's actually pretty cool of them to do. So yeah, so just go ahead and do that if you listen to us on Spotify or anywhere you listen to us. We'd appreciate that. But that is going to do it. So next week we'll have a surprise guest. We'll be talking about the Free Fall, and that's it. Have a good week, everyone. See you next week.